Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. This is episode 2 of my Fearcast, and it's a little bit, well, I mean, it's pretty similar to what I do usually. So we talk about, true crime cases, various cases, conspiracy theories, supernatural cases, everything and anything. But in this one, I am accompanied by my moderators and my Patreon members, usually Platinum, Ruby, and Diamond tiers. So they join me in a Discord call, and then we discuss different topics for the month. And this time, in this episode, the topic is the most disturbing true crime cases. What does that mean? So it doesn't have to be the cases, like I was going to talk about some cases that I've covered before, the ones that I kind of deem as my favorites. So like the Axemen of New Orleans and stuff, but I also find the ones that kind of I haven't covered them before, and yet like I still kind of find them very disturbing. So just new cases, some old cases. We're just gonna talk about everything. Okay, I'm gonna switch to the other screen, and well, in a minute, I'm just gonna say hi to everyone. First and foremost, thank you so much to my moderators in the chat. You guys, thank you so much for modding the stream. Everyone else in the chat, please do remember to be nice, to abide by the chat rules. Don't, create problems for the mods. Let them enjoy the stream. Let them enjoy the call as well. Also, I just have to... Wait, hold up. I need to do something. One tiny thing before... Where's my messenger chat? Oh, okay. I have to just make it bigger. I think this is fine. Behave, exactly. Then episode 3 would just be all fun facts. I mean, we could. I'm not saying we couldn't. Just a reminder before we begin, we jump to the podcast, the topic. I'm just reminding you guys about the giveaway. So Japan Goodies giveaway. The form actually closes today. So midnight Japan time, I'm gonna, well, not Japan time, sorry. Midnight Taiwan time, I'm gonna close the form. So I'm gonna delete all the links to the form to enter the giveaway. So you guys have a couple more hours. I mean, quite a lot, but you guys have a couple more hours. I guess like in the morning, like it closes in the morning US time. So yeah, like you can still enter, you can still like fill out the form and enter the draw, the goodies giveaway draw. Also, Shai, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. As always, you guys remember to say thank you. Everyone who got the membership, please remember to say thank you to Shai. And I've been here for years. It's great to see you grow. Well, this is, yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever imagined getting to that. Like, I always say that whenever we hit a milestone, like 10K and 50K and 100K. And I always say like, oh, I never imagined we would get to that point. And it's kind of scary because it always is. But yeah, I enjoy my community. I enjoy, what we have here, and I'm always very grateful for every single one of you guys. So yeah, just remember to hit like and subscribe if you like my content, because that pushes the algorithm to kind of, help my channel a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate that you guys are here. Nice profile. Thank you. Oh no, Dorothy, I had a day at work. I hope you can rest now. I hope you can enjoy, listening to the stream, or you can, well, Dorothy, thank you. Like, technically you can join the call, right? Like, if you're on Discord, you can go ahead and join our call and talk with us about true crime. And I do have a surprise for you guys, because I did set a little setup for this stream. It's gonna be weird, but okay. Wait, because I have to... Alright, I'm not ready for this, but so I have a little setup with everyone. I tried to add everyone and like label every single member that is supposed to be here. Not everyone is gonna be here. Some of the members are not gonna be here. They couldn't make it. Some of the mods couldn't make it, but I made sure to label everyone, so we'll see. Also, Ketsuya, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. And please make sure to thank Ketsuya if you got the membership from him. Okay, are you guys ready for this? Because I think you guys are gonna like it. I think you guys are gonna get the joke in this setup. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna switch on my microphone and everything. I'm gonna join the call. Hello. Okay, we're here. We're here. Wait.
We're talking
Hi,
about
boss.
cars.
Sorry, yeah, we're having a little man
Did you
talk.
guys-
Hello.
Did you guys see the setup?
Yes, I am a crow.
I am.
I
Us,
wasn't
we're
paying
all crows.
attention.
Wait, you Mike Wazowski'd me.
Yep.
Why Mike Wazowski?
We're all
I'm covered over the microphone.
Oh shit! Sorry. Wait.
No,
Let me just remove
Keep
that
it.
microphone. Well, I do have like another setup because I'm gonna be switching.
That's a lot
someone
of
is-
crows.
See, like I can switch to this, and then it's like it's Kanta. There's Kanta. There's IDK Bacon. There's Kronos. There's
There's
Lost
me.
Nemesis, and there's DMJ. Well, DMJ is on the other one, I think. I think
Also,
DMJ is here. Yeah, DMJ is here.
I missed it.
Hello to
Wait,
everybody. You all better
You're
behave.
here. You're
Can I
here.
make Can I make a quick request?
Sure.
Can he make
Kanta.
Kronos a small white crow?
I don't have a white crow.
Oh, a white one? Thanks. I
I
appreciate
just
that.
have like. But yeah,
That's
I just
cool,
have a
though.
couple. Sorry, I had to like split it because I couldn't fit everyone in one screen, so I have to like split it between between two kind of screens. So there's there's chairs, so there's like mostly Patreon members, but BMJ is there in the middle. And I
Oh, man.
believe- Yeah, you guys DMJ, you're in the middle.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
Kanta has DMJ's eyes. Look at that.
Sure.
Something going on there.
Okay, so we're
Mm.
gonna talk about some
Sacrifice.
nice. So we're gonna talk about some disturbing true crime cases, and I don't know, like, do you guys want to start? Should I start? Should I kick it off?
It's
Kick
your
it off.
show.
It's your show.
It's your
But
show, yeah.
I'm gonna change the music to the spooky one, as always.
Spooky ghost music.
So I want to talk about the case of Kendrick Johnson. I don't know if you guys know about this case, if you heard like everyone in the chat or in the call. It is a case from 2013. I'm just gonna pull up the picture of Kendrick. So this is Kendrick. He was a high school student, and he was found so he was a basketball player at his school. This happened in Valdosta, Georgia, at Lowndes High School. And so Kendrick was a basketball player. He was also on, I believe he was on the wrestling team as well, but he was into sports. And one day on January 11th, 2013, he doesn't come to classes. He just skips classes suddenly. No one knows where he is. He doesn't come home. And then he is found. His body is actually found in the gymnasium of his high school, and he is found head first in the center of like a vertical rolled up wrestling mat. And yeah, like his head is down there, his feet are kind of sticking, well, not sticking out, but they're like up, right? Like they're just
They look like they're
Right,
inside the
yeah.
middle of the roll.
So this is
Yeah, and
obviously
then-
a homicide.
well, I mean, I guess it wasn't that obvious because so the body was discovered by like fellow students. It just so happens that part of the gymnasium wasn't covered by the cameras,
Of course.
of course. And
But of
What a
course.
surprise.
it's very weird, right? Like he is upside
Unsupervised
down.
downtime.
Nice. So he is, found upside down. The mat is like super tall. It's 6 feet tall and it's like 3 feet wide. So like for everyone in Europe, that's 1.8 meters tall and almost a meter wide. I can hear myself from someone. From someone's. Okay, never mind. Okay, so right, like they find him. He's dead, and then an autopsy is conducted. And well, I mean, it's obviously like it's very suspicious. No one could tell what happened to him. He was found in this like weird, strange position, and he did not look like he just died of asphyxia. And yet, the autopsy, like the examiner, determined that, oh, this was an accidental death by positional asphyxia. So essentially, he just choked to death, and like all the blood that was, because he was upside down, like, oh, all the blood just went to his head and he died, right? But it's
I
so
call
weird.
bullshit.
Yeah, right? Like, the parents, the family, the friend, like his friends, they were just like, that doesn't make any sense. On top of it, the explanation for like the accidental death was that apparently he usually would throw his shoes, like his whatever basketball shoes, into those mats, and like and they just fell into that tube, and he just dived in to retrieve those shoes, right? But the problem is later, and I'm gonna show you guys the picture. I'm gonna like post it in the chat in the VC. But the problem is when the mat was kind of put down, right, like in the horizontal position, like this is what it looks like. You can see his feet, and the shoes are next to his feet. So why would he?
It's definitely weird.
Yeah, like that's definitely someone. It looks like the shoes were like stuffed in, and I'm not gonna show that picture on stream because it is a dead body, so I'm not gonna show it. I just showed it in the chat. But yeah, like the shoes, his shoes, the ones that he was supposedly like diving into that mat to retrieve, are like stuffed kind of next to his feet, which is on top of the mat, which everyone is saying like, what the fuck? So was he diving to retrieve his shoes, or was he like,
So,
what happened?
looking at them,
yeah.
Looking at them, they look like if he did dive down upside down. They look as if they were added after he had been inserted.
Yeah, exactly,
Or,
exactly.
Alternatively, they got stuck somehow midway the tube, then he climbs down, and they're, for anyone not looking at it, they're about at his calves, wedged against his body next to each other. So if they were at the bottom of the mats, you think they'd be past his feet.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, they were supposedly like, wait, I can hear myself, why? So they were supposedly, like, stuff, right? Like, they fell to the very bottom. Maybe, like, some people were explaining it as if, like, oh, okay, he dove in, he retrieved the shoes, and he was trying to kind of, like, push them out, like, upwards, and they just... And then he died, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, it still doesn't make sense. Like, they kind of look like they are lodged between his like legs and his, right? Like, oh, and also he's barefoot. Mind you, in the CCTV footage from that day, when he enters the gymnasium, he has shoes on. So, the fuck happened? Why was he there to retrieve his shoes to begin with? Because, like, supposedly he was there to retrieve his shoes. So yeah, so obviously the autopsy report says like, oh, this was an accidental death. He just, you know, like asphyxia. He just died of natural causes. Well, I mean, as a result of an accident. So the family orders an independent autopsy. And mind you, I'm not gonna show you guys this picture. You can probably look it up. But the next, like the independent autopsy, the examiner said like, hey, he died of blunt force trauma. And you can see it, like, if you look up his picture, the post-mortem picture, from his face, you can see that he has bruising on his lip. There's, like, bruising on his eye. He has, like, bruises on his face. This is not a face of someone who, like, nothing happened, and he just died, you know, of asphyxia. Like, this is just not a face of someone. Oh,
sweet
like,
Satan.
Yeah, right? Like, if you look it up, that's...
To be fair... That is with him being upside down for a long time.
But then, like, there was, like, apparently, like, injuries to his eye and to his lip.
No, I see it. It like his...
Yeah. Like, yeah, on one hand, like, yeah, he's obviously, like, swollen and stuff, so maybe he wasn't, like, completely dead, but at the time...
But he's got the same thing on his right bicep.
Yeah, so the, you know, the medical examiner said, like, hey, this is actually from blunt force trauma. Like, he was beaten up pretty bad. And also they said like, well, I mean, in this case, they explained it like, hey, he was beaten up and someone, to hide the body, maybe they thought he was already dead, but he wasn't yet. And they stuffed him in that mat and threw his shoes in. So then it gets kind of like more complicated because apparently like a couple of months before, I think like a year before, or like I don't remember how many months, but a couple of months before his death, Kendrick was also attacked. Like, he was apparently being bullied by a couple of students, and he was attacked on a school bus. And also, like, he got into a fight, like, you know, the student, like the other student was kind of being a dick to him, and you know, they fought. And the family later accused, well, I mean, obviously they accused the police department of trying to cover it up, just because, and that's like, there was a reason why they were trying to cover it up, because like apparently one of the, or two other students that were suspected of bullying Kendrick were sons of an FBI agent. So
can I?
Well,
Like
that'll
father,
do it.
like son.
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, so like there were two sons of an FBI agent, and they were apparently like involved in like bullying, like just ongoing bullying of Kendrick. And there's like a couple of other things. Yeah, like the surveillance footage, there was like weird stuff about it. There was like an hour or 2 hours missing from that day. And those were kind of, they were explained as if like, oh, well, that's just the camera system. Like some of them, like they're not synchronized. The system, some of the cameras react to motion. So, they don't record all the time. And yeah, but it's so weird because like like an hour or 2 hours from that day are just missing from those cameras, from those recordings. And obviously like Kendrick's family were suspecting that someone tampered with the footage and removed something significant from that day. And then, then it got like, it got very complicated. It got very weird too, because like about his body. So, when after the first autopsy, I think that, the one dragon puppeteer has been a member for 7 months. Thank you so much. Sona's streams is just spine chilling, always. So the case gets weird, again, because the second, before the second autopsy, I think, so this says the independent autopsy found that sometime after Johnson's body was recovered from the mat and had passed through a funeral home, it had been stuffed with newspapers. So his organs have been removed and the body was stuffed with newspapers. Like it's not, like, and then the funeral home, when family like contacted the funeral home to demand like, hey, this is an ongoing investigation. Why were the organs removed? Like where are his organs? And then the coroner, like they were trying to get the internal organs, right, like back from the coroner in order to do that second autopsy. And the coroner like explained that, they have been, quote, destroyed through natural process, and then discarded by the prosecutor before the body was sent back to family. Which, like, what the fuck? Like, isn't this an ongoing investigation? Why are you discarding of any piece of him? So this is not like, it's not an uncommon practice. Obviously, like when bodies are prepared for a funeral, like, yeah, it's usually the organs are removed and the body is usually stuffed with, like filled with the void, right? Like after the organs are removed, the body is filled usually with cotton or sawdust. That's like common practice. Newspapers are not very common to use. So this was found, like this was kind of like seen as this very disrespectful, because like, why did you, of all the bodies, why did you stuff him with newspapers? Also, like, because it's an ongoing investigation, why did you discard of anything? Like of any of his organs, right? Because like, we want another autopsy. Like we need all parts of him, everything, to test again. And you just discarded like of a lot of things that could have been, I don't know, maybe there was some damage to his internal organs or something.
Or, you could do a toxicology on his liver.
Yeah. Because like, if to begin with, if the law enforcement was like kind of covering it up like from the start, like who's to say that the toxicology reports that you have, like you released, are real, are true? Like, are you hiding anything? Did you hide anything? And yeah, like you can't, like the organs are gone, so they can't really test that. And what else? Well, then later, I believe that the family filed a civil lawsuit against 38 people. Not all of them were named. Definitely against the law enforcement. They did not identify the students by name. But it was kind of like a rumor circulated that it's, you know, like at school, especially since other students knew about the conflict between Kendrick and those like 2 students or 3 students. I don't remember how many in total, but like definitely those like 2 sons of an FBI agent. Agent Smith, please don't take down my channel. I'm just, you know, I'm just reporting. This is just a report. But yeah, so the family filed a civil lawsuit, and honestly, like, it was dismissed, apparently. Later it was just like dismissed, like not, like it was found as unfounded and baseless, and well, I mean, that's what the Lowndes count, I don't know how to pronounce it, Lowndes county attorney.
Given that it's very South Georgia, it could be anything from Lowndes.
Well, anyway, like the county attorney said that the allegations against like those people, like all the law enforcement and you know, the FBI agent and his sons and everyone else was like unfounded, baseless, and you know, obviously they would fight it in court. And the fucked up part is that the civil lawsuit, like they lost that civil lawsuit, and I believe the Georgia judge ruled that. This is what it says, like Wikipedia actually says, the Georgia judge Richard Porter ruled that Johnson's family and their attorney had to pay more than $292,000 in legal fees to the dozens of respondents in their civil lawsuit. It's
that's a chunk of change.
Apparently, like, oh, this is a quote. Quote, testimony shows that they had no evidence to support their claims that the brothers, right, like the FBI agent's sons, killed Johnson, or that any of the other defendants engaged in a conspiracy to conceal the cause of or manner of Johnson's death. But it's just so, yeah, like the case is not closed. It actually got reopened, I believe 2021. March 10, 2021, the case was officially reopened by the county sheriff, Ashley Polk, I believe. Yeah, that's the, but yeah, so the case is reopened now, but at the time, this was 2016, the lawsuit was dismissed, right? And the family was ordered to pay $300,000 in legal fees. And
oh yeah, I'm sure that's great news to them.
Yeah,
right?
You know, I'm sure they just have that in their pocket. You know, like, here you go, here's almost a $500,000.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry that your son died, but here you go. Pay us money, please.
Yeah, please.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry you're going through this incredible tragedy, losing your son in very suspicious circumstances. Here's the bill, $300K, and God knows like how much more, cause they spend a lot on, yeah, like on the autopsy, right? Like to do the independent autopsy. I'm pretty sure it wasn't cheap. Like pretty sure they also like coughed up a lot of money for that. And yeah, like this apparently, well, I mean, okay, so this says in January 2022, the second investigation was closed with no charges filed, but I think it was like another, was there another reopening? Because I thought, okay, so in 2021 it was reopened, and then yeah, like they investigated, and in 2022 it was closed again with no charges filed, and the sheriff said there was no homicide, no cover-up. Oh my god, so what was the point of this? Like, I thought they were getting somewhere, but there was no cover-up, no homicide, no conspiracy in the January 2013 death of the teen. It was simply a tragic and bizarre accident. I don't know. I have my doubts.
How the fuck was it not homicide? Why? What? Like, you can't look at this poor man and, like, be like, you can't even think about the circumstances of this and be like, yeah, this is a totally normal death. He did this to himself. Yeah, that's no, like, what the fuck? I'm bacon. Sorry, but I'm angry at this.
This
yeah,
is bacon
actually
going off.
That's really frustrating, because like he obviously didn't do this to himself. Like, you know, he couldn't roll himself up that tight.
Yeah,
actually, I'm looking at some pictures that are going with it. It looks like one of his family members of similar build is trying to stick their body in a rolled-up mat.
Yeah.
And all they can fit is just their head.
Yeah, that's Kanta. Kanta said that. Sorry, I don't have your guys' like Fuji or reactive image, so I could you know, I'm just improvising here.
I'm the sexy looking crow.
Kanta is the sexy one.
We're all sexy looking crows
I'm
here.
the dumb looking crow.
I'm
I'm the one with the gimpy leg.
the crow that's about to be sacrificed.
Oh yeah, no, the DMJ is the one that is meant to be sacrificed soon. That's the one in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
I'm the crow that hit the window before it got in.
But someone said, wait, Lost Nemesis said, considering I had a family member who had unfortunate circumstances in Georgia, it definitely was laziness. Interesting. So Georgia is not the best.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. Shy sent a super chat. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, but this is funny. Imagining Bacon speaking, but as a crow. See, I really have to like get those like reactive images, because then I can actually make the crow react, like as in speak. Like if I have, this is like just the still image, but like I can actually like make them react. I have to like make it, like I need to like figure it out. I haven't figured it out yet. Like how to connect it without like Fuji. I guess there's a way on Discord, but who knows?
Now, isn't there security footage showing him running away from something?
Yeah, like there was another, yeah, like there's a couple of like CCTV footage from like around that gymnasium or around the school, and he's like running away, and then he goes, I don't know in what sequence, but yeah, like he goes to into the gymnasium, but then that part that conveniently is not covered by the cameras, so we never know what happens to him if he actually did go in there alone. Like, yeah, like, well, I mean, if he was there alone. Like, he passes by some, like, 2 students or something on the way to the gymnasium, but it doesn't seem like those are the ones.
And for what I can recall, he wasn't in there just overnight. I think he was in there for over a weekend.
I believe... Was he? Wait, let me see, because
Because I remember this being in the news, because I'm here from Georgia, and I swear, like, it was like he was in there for a while.
Might have been, but like I saw that, oh, it was just a couple of hours or something, and then he maybe possibly. Wait, let me find it, because like I actually don't remember. What's the timeline? Let me see.
I'm thinking something else.
Maybe like someone else. Also, Bacon has been a member for 21 months and sent a bunch of crows.
Now, what I can say is, like, I submitted it in the VC. It's very disturbing for anyone who in the VC doesn't want to look at it. But it looks like there's a pose of how he was inside the mat unrolled. And he's got his arm above his head.
Oh, yeah.
And I would think it would be just as purple and bloated. And it's not really that way.
Yeah, like, the arm isn't, right? Like, his face is, but then the arm is, like, the one that was still, like, even lower than his head. Is kind of, like, normal color. Plus, he has, like, I don't know if this is, like, what is... I guess the blood comes from his, like, mouth.
It might be coming out of his ears and nose, because that's where, you know...
But yeah, there were definitely... indication that there was some like injuries on him. It doesn't seem like he was there for a long time. I think it was like the same day.
I at least feel like the family is deserving of some compensation just for bad, you know, like bad just handling bad of protocol.
The case. And like they did handle it badly, because like the organs that they removed, like they shouldn't have, right? Like they should have kept those organs for like possible second opinion.
You know, just because it looks like an accident, like, all right, so they could easily, I think, determine if this is how a body looks like if it's rolled up in a mat. Up in Tennessee, the northern bordering state, they've got that body farm where they put bodies in all different sort of positions that are donated to them.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that from there, that research, they probably have some bodies that are like, oh, we left it upside down for a while post-death.
Yeah, like they would definitely like test it out. And
so I mean,
wait, Shai also sent a super chat saying, "Why is the left side so uniform and the right so disorganized? Murder of organized and disorganized crows."
We practiced for a whole week to get in sync.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the right side is just chaos. There has to be chaos and order, okay? A little bit of chaos and order, a little bit of order and chaos. It's the perfect balance.
They're
Perfectly
trying to
balanced,
kill me.
Perfect as all things should be.
Wait, what? DMJ, what did you say?
Help, the crows are trying to kill me.
Oh, the crows are trying to kill you. Oh yeah, they're ganging up on DMJ on that right side.
Help!
No, it
The
just so
crows are
happens. It's
beginning
just
to plot.
coincidental. It's just coincidental because like I set up the couch on one side and then the chairs on the other side, and it just ended up that way. So, yeah. So
Perfect representation of the angry mob.
chaos. You guys are in chaos.
No, the only thing I could see is that I could see both autopsies being correct. Like, perhaps he was being bullied and they got into a physical fight and they just punched him in the face and knocked him the hell out.
Yeah.
And they panicked, freaked out, and were like, literally just roll him up and hide him like you're hiding something under a rug.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
And
that's what I was thinking.
And then just being left upside down unconscious finished the job. And they just panicked because it was an accidental death.
Although, wait a minute. You said that he's caught on camera going to the area where he was found, correct?
Yeah, like into the gymnasium. But he's still wearing his shoes.
But there's like no cameras on anyone else who came in and out of there?
No, but there's also, I think there's also an emergency exit that just isn't covered by cameras. So we don't know, like those people might have been there. Like I think from what I remember, there was like an emergency exit from the gymnasium. And
did the fire alarm go off?
And there's a corner, again, like there's a corner with those like wrestling mats that is not covered by the camera. So people might have been there in that corner, like hiding.
And that's
like,
also, I imagine,
him.
where some of the conspiracy comes in of maybe there were people on that footage and they just didn't say anything.
Yeah, because also, mind you, like, because 2 hours of that footage from that day is missing, is gone.
Yeah,
like, they
I'm
claimed
with that.
that, oh, you know, there was like, oh, they weren't synchronized, this system wasn't synchronized, or cameras didn't react to like motion, so it didn't record.
And it's not like it's unheard of like cops protecting their kids.
Oh yeah.
Like I think we all hear in all of our hometowns, like there was like the sheriff's kid who did this and that, and then it gets wiped
or
clean.
Like lawyer's kid, and they, you know, or any prominent family, or like law enforcement, and they just covered it. And there were so many cases like this. Well, I mean, there were similar cases, right, where there's a cover up because of, you know, the kid, someone being related to a.
I at least think that this at least deserves a look by the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. They're like the FBI of the state.
Yeah.
And the fact that they haven't been called in, from what I can see.
I read that they were.
Where is that?
Off the Wikipedia page.
Let me check
GBI.
Okay. Yeah. No, obsessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they did the autopsy.
Yeah. So they did the first autopsy, and they said like, oh, this is from positional asphyxia. Again, it could be true, but both could be true, right? Like, oh, there was blunt force trauma, and he died of asphyxia, but that's because like he was beaten up and put inside that mat. And yeah, like he was rolled up pretty tightly, and also like his shoulder. Yeah, like I remember that. Like, oh, the shoulders, and like this person, right? Like the family member who had like the same, like his shoulders were the same width. He was trying
the guy
to
in the
get
red
into,
shirt.
Yeah. He was trying to get in, and his shoulders wouldn't get past his head, right? Like, oh, his shoulders wouldn't fit. So Kendrick was like even, like, I think he was even bigger. He was even taller than this family member, and there's no way he would have fit in that mat.
It's like they tucked him in, like they just good night, sweet prince, get in there and covered it completely all up.
Yeah, like he was unconscious because someone beat him up, and then they just kind of like, oh, stuffed him forcefully kind of in that mat and threw the shoes in. Like took off his shoes and threw them in so that it seems like, oh, well, he climbed in for the shoes. Yeah.
I mean, there's always the hope that if someone did do it, and it was a fellow student, the guilt at least makes them confess eventually.
I mean, maybe, hopefully.
Otherwise,
well, I mean, it's kind of discouraging that the investigation was reopened, 2021, and again, it was closed again.
Well, it looks like the GBI was part of the lawsuit, so that might be their lack of eagerness to investigate it again.
Yeah, because it's one of their own, sort of. Well, I mean, the possible suspects are like sons of one of their own. So
I could just only think if we're not convinced and we're this upset, I just can't imagine what the family has to be feeling.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they are devastated again and again because they were disappointed and devastated in 2016 and 2017 when 2013 when the death happened, then 2016 when they were trying to file a lawsuit, then 2017 when like the lawsuit was dismissed and they were ordered to pay $300K, which by now they probably had paid because it's been years. And then the investigation, like they have some hope, right? 2021, okay, there's hope, they are reopening it. And it's just like 2022, okay, well, it's over. It's the same outcome as in 2013. It's honestly like super, super discouraging. I cannot imagine.
That's the biggest heartbreak.
Like, yeah, like the continuous heartbreak, continuous disappointment with, people who are supposed to help you solve a very suspicious death in your family, and like you're supposed to trust them, and it's just like, oh, it seems like, okay, they're working against me, like they don't want to help me, they just want to dismiss it as fast as possible, and they don't want to deal with this case anymore.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of paperwork,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Well,
Yeah.
that's it for my case. You guys take it away. What do you guys want to talk about?
Protos,
Well,
do it. Do the thing.
Do it.
Oh, mine might take a little bit, so I don't want to like take away from if someone else had other
in that
things.
case,
yeah.
I want to go. I want to go
IDK.
because I'm gonna try to make it like a quick rundown because I still would like you to cover it as like as your thing, But okay, so
Actually,
the most hello English. So the topic you mentioned was like the most gruesome cases, right?
Or disturbing.
And,
disturbing, not necessarily
disturbing, gruesome,
Sure.
whatever, same thing. But how should I put it? I found the most disturbing case I know of is actually my favorite case. The case of the Cleveland torso murder. So basically, back in Cleveland, Ohio, in the 1930s, there was a serial killer going around known as the Cleveland torso murderer, or he was also known as the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run.
And he really liked feet.
I mean, he
That's why they called him the torso lever man.
He liked some bad stuff. So basically, his MO was his modus operandi. He would find people down on their luck. It's the 1930s, the Great Depression, whatnot. Mostly vagrants and sex workers from the like more dangerous part of Cleveland at that time, Kingsbury Run and the Roaring Third. He would take those people and murder them and dismember their bodies in the most gruesome way you can imagine. He would cut off their head, cut off all their limbs, and just dump the body, and it's just absolutely sick. And so what was
Now,
it?
A lot of these look like males.
Yeah, actually. That's another thing. The males, they tended to be emasculated. They tend to have their let's say their family organs were cut off. This guy was a sick man, whoever did this, but there's, depending on who you ask, there's like anywhere from like 12 to like 20 or more victims of this guy. But there's only like 12 or 13 that are like actually attributed to him, and they mostly happened between 1935 and 1938. But some of the other ones, how should I put it? Some of the other, you know, that are unconfirmed were found in and around the Pittsburgh area, Newcastle, Youngstown, Ohio, around there, mostly by train yards. And so basically, you know, some people, because the train yard thing, they think he was the murderer was also a vagrant.
So like his victims were mostly people who no one would look for, like, oh, you know, kind of
pretty much, yeah.
The less dead, as they would call it.
Okay. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, me.
Pretty much. So,
yeah, I heard
only like.
I'm sorry, I heard Kanta like the echo, and I was like, oh wow, twice. Okay.
There was only like I want to say 3, or maybe no, it was 3 identified victims. So the first one that was identified was a man by the name of Edward Andrassi.
Oh yeah.
He was found emasculated. Yeah. And he was found in Kingsbury Run, you know, like the bad part of town. Second one to be identified was a woman by the name of Florence Palillo. She was dismembered, and she was wrapped in paper and put into baskets.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, was that
yeah,
bad? I mean, I heard, like, I think someone mentioned, like, you might have mentioned it before, like, the case, and I just never, like, I didn't get around to, like, looking into it. I was, oh god, okay.
Yeah, this guy was pretty fucked up. Like, I know I said it's my favorite case, but like
the most disturbing you've right, like you've encountered.
Pretty much.
It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Flabbergasting.
I mean, the reason why it's my favorite has nothing to do with the case itself, but you know, I'll get into that.
Well, yeah, it is fascinating, right? Like, oh, the Jack the Ripper case, there's like so many like people cover it, right? It's just like revisited over and over because it's intriguing, right? Like the mystery, like who is it?
Exactly. Well, I mean, it also helped me find your channel, so I mean, yeah, that's the main reason.
Which, by the way, good news, it doesn't look like we caught him.
Oh,
yeah, no.
Jack the Ripper? No, yeah.
No. They didn't find the guy that was doing these. Now,
the Cleveland murder? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
the
Cleveland
torso murder.
Yeah. He has yet to be caught, and he probably never will be. Let's be real here.
I mean, it's 30s. He's probably dead by now.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
unless all that killing is the key to immortality.
Technically, there was a suspect who was convicted in this case, but he was how should I put it?
Was he like cleared of?
He was cleared of it post-hospum.
So he was a suspect or person of interest, but then he died.
Yeah, no, like he was a suspect and he was convicted of it, and
he was just a placeholder just to get it done.
After he died, Yeah.
Was it Dr. Francis Edward Sweeney?
No. The guy I'm talking about is a guy by the name of Frank Dolezal. So basically, this guy, he knew all 3 of the identified victims, but he and he ran in similar circles and he knew of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the cops, they pinned it on this guy, on this Frank Dolezal guy, because they wanted to they wanted to catch this guy. They wanted to catch this killer. This was a big deal, you know, some madman running around dismembering people. They wanted to catch this guy.
Yeah.
So they pinned it on Frank Dolezal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the way he got convicted was because he confessed to it. Problem was, he knew nothing about the case.
Oh, and they still convicted him, even though
he confessed to it, but he didn't know anything about the case. Somehow.
We all know about false confessions and how they work.
They just kind of like, well, this guy confessed. We might as well close this case. Actually, like, oh, we don't have to investigate more.
I could be mistaken. Like, Maybe care. It was.
I mean, that's why Henry Lee Lucas got so many crimes associated to him, even though he probably had nothing to do with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, absolutely.
I could be mistaken. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't convicted, but like, I'm actually, yeah. I think. I don't think he was convicted yet, but. And that leads into how he dies, because now that I think about it, now that I got a refresh, because I didn't read that part earlier whenever I did my quote-unquote research.
Yeah.
I'm just going off of memory.
Yeah.
So, dude, you know, he confessed to the crime. He was in the Cuyahoga County Jail, and, you know, his trial was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And they found him hanged in his cell. A problem was he was hanging from a height that was like shorter than he was.
Oh.
So he didn't hang himself.
No, someone helped him.
Yeah, exactly. Someone gave him a little hand. So eventually, he was post-hospital. I can't say that word. Now I know. Now I know how you feel.
Right?
Posthumously. I know how it's supposed to be pronounced, but my brain ain't braining.
After he all dead like.
Anyways. Yeah.
Posthumously. Posthumously.
Anyways,
that's the word.
Yeah, that's the word.
Posthumidity.
After he died, he was exonerated of involvement in, you know, the
I'm sorry, I'm
killings
just gonna cut it for like
people.
a second. Did I just say posthumously?
I think so.
We all know that word.
Posthumously. That's what I'm gonna call it now.
Posthumously. Okay, IDK.
Posthumously. There we go.
And so that leads, you know, that possible suspect leads to the, like, you know, with him being out of the picture and no longer being a suspect, we go to who's most likely the actual suspect, the actual killer in this case. A man by the name of Dr. Francis Edward Sweeney.
Yeah.
So this guy, he was a doctor, you know, hence Dr. Francis Edward Sweeney. I know, right? Genius. So he was a doctor, and he was operating in Cleveland at the time. I can't remember what it was, but he was operating down near 52nd Street, or I can't remember if it was 55th or 52nd. I know I drove past there a little while, like, whenever I was living in Cleveland, just to check it out.
Yeah.
But so he was operating a practice in Cleveland, and his practice happened to be next to a can't remember if it was a morgue or a funeral home.
Very convenient.
But
It's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, he had something going with this funeral home, and so
yeah.
this guy, you know, it looks like he's probably the one who did it. In fact, the I don't remember the actual name of it, but the guy that was basically the head of the police and the fire whatever,
I guess.
yeah, like the chief of both fire and police. That's weird, but it is what it is. Yeah, his name was
like,
Elliot Ness.
Chief of both?
Yeah, that's weird to be chief of both.
I guess like at the time it was like 30s, so maybe it was just kind of joint position. Like, oh, you're just like chief of emergency services or something. Emergency services. Okay.
This man, Elliot Ness, he was the chief at the time, and he wanted to catch this guy. Like I mentioned, you know, a few of the victims before, and how they died. Well, there's this one. I can't remember if it was one or I'm pretty sure it was one. One of the victims. This killer towards the end, he got pretty ballsy. The last known victim. Take a guess where he was found. Where this victim was found. I can't remember if it was a he or she.
Where it was, like, I don't know, like, but like in a public place, in a completely public, maybe like
public place. Yeah, this victim was found within view of Elliot Ness's office. Yeah. So
the killer is getting ballsy.
Yeah, the killer by the end basically told Elliot Ness, the chief at the time, like, "Hey, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, like
respectfully.
And this is already after the suspect, the guy. Wait, what's his name? Frank
Dolezal. Yeah.
Dolezal, like he was dead already, right?
Yeah, he was dead already.
So they all thought like, oh well, you know, like he's dead, he's gone. Yeah. But then like, oh, actually no, I'm not. That wasn't me, and like I'm gonna just keep killing. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the last victim.
Basically, Ness, he figured it was this guy Sweeney, right?
Yeah.
And he took in Sweeney, but not downtown, like he's supposed to. He took him to a hotel room. This was not. Oh God, I didn't even think about it like that. But yeah, so he took this guy that he detained, definitely legally detained this Sweeney guy, took him to a hotel for questioning, and they used the now this was the 30s, so it was in its infancy, but the lie detector tests, he failed 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, granted,
come on,
you know, the lie detector tests, they aren't the most, you know, reliable, yeah, but you know, you fail 2 of them, yeah. So, you know,
I mean, but it's safe to say, like, oh, he wasn't, like, he was pretty nervous about the questions and he wasn't entirely truthful.
Yeah.
Because lie detector test still shows something. It shows that, oh, you're nervous about certain questions.
Yeah. So, you know, Ness is, you know, getting this guy to sort of fess up, but, you know, this confession isn't, you know, he can't use this in court. you know, because
Yeah.
he definitely detained the guy legally, quote unquote.
Because he
Yeah.
had no evidence.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
but you know, the reason why he didn't try going after the Sweeney guy further, turns out Francis Sweeney, he had some powerful family. His cousin was a congressman.
Oh shit. Okay,
So
Guilty.
yeah.
Judgy judge,
Yeah.
my client is gluten. I mean guilty.
Guilty
So-
as charged.
Guilty.
Yeah,
DOJ is just like guilty.
So he didn't think he could get this guy in a court of law, and so he's the most likely suspect, but who knows? And there's a lot of stuff that I didn't even mention because, like I said, I still want you to put your shine on the case because it's a really good case.
Also, it reminded me. So this case kind of reminded me, I don't know if you guys know about this other case. It's not from the States, actually. It's from India. It is the case, it's very similar to the case of Butcher of New Delhi. It actually, well, I mean, I guess like this guy was caught eventually, but it starts, I think I remember watching a documentary about it. It was like, it started in like 2006. And it starts with someone reporting, like finding a dismembered body, like anonymous caller, because I remember that, like an anonymous, oh god, I can't. An anonymous caller calls in a body, like alerts authorities to a body, dismembered body. I think it was like a torso or something, or just like several parts, like legs or something and torso, that was left in front of Delhi's jail. Like someone just dropped it there. I think it was like packed in, in like covered in bags or like paper or something like, or like some kind of cloth. But yeah, then someone like, someone called it in. Well, I mean, the killer called it in, saying like, hey, I dropped. Well, I mean, hey, there's a body there, and then, obviously, like everyone is gathering there. Like they just discovered that it's a dismembered body. And then, like, not long after, like several months later in 2007, there's another 2 bodies, also like scattered body parts from two different bodies at different locations in New Delhi. And then, like this person, I think he also calls it in or like taunts the police, the investigators for a while. I think he sent some letters or he sent some kind of notes to somewhere. I don't remember well, but like he was kind of playing around with them, like cat and mouse. And what's crazy? So like this guy, when he was discovered, it turns out that call from 2006, that first quote unquote first victim in front of the jail, there was this scene, there was this moment where the officers or people are gathering around. They are trying to, because the body is like wrapped in cloths and rope, and they're like, it's really tightly kind of wrapped. They're trying to unwrap this body, unwrap the parts. And then some random person comes in with like a little knife and like very swiftly unwraps it as if they knew how to unwrap it. And it turns out that it was this guy. Like the killer actually was still there, and he was playing the part of like, oh, just an innocent onlooker. I'm just gonna help you guys out.
Wow.
So he was there, and then I think they eventually caught him in 2000. Like 2013. Well, I mean, no, like a couple of years later. I think they caught him 2007 or like 8, and it turns out that it was this guy, wait, what's his name? Chandrakant Jha, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he was caught, and it turns out that he's been killing since, like, his first killing dates back to, like, 1998, and it usually was like, oh, he would trick kind of young boys, young migrant workers from different parts of India that just came to New Delhi for, for work, and he would, like, trick them to go to his apartment, like, oh, he's gonna help, like, I'm gonna help you out, I'm gonna help you find job, and oh, you can just stay over, you know, if you don't have a place to stay yet because you just arrived, like, oh, don't worry, like, you can, you know I have connections, I can get you a job and you can just stay over at my place. But then he would just like murder them and
kind of like John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer in that sense.
Yeah. But then the dismembering part, it just like reminded me of the Cleveland torso killer, and it was pretty.
What an absolute ego!
Yeah.
To open up your own hand. It's like, wow, these knots are really tight. Man, the guy who did this must have been really clever and smart. Don't you guys think? I bet he's also jacked.
Yeah, like it's literally, it was like that. Like he just kind of like, they were trying to unwrap it, and he was just like, "Oh, let me help you. Let me help you. I know I'm good with like knots and stuff." And he just like started unwrapping it like very fast, and you know.
It would be ironic if it wasn't actually that he could tie a knot. He just tied a lot.
Yeah, it's just it's just, and he doesn't, like, if you look at his picture. Like if you type in butcher of Delhi, I guess, yeah, then like like he's.
It's like if the Zodiac showed up to the police, like, hey, I figured out all these puzzles. This killer's real genius.
That's crazy.
Oh man,
it's crazy. Like I guess like he got when did he get like caught? Well, I think
number for a long time.
Well, number of victims like from 3 to 7, I guess, like up to 7, and who knows if not more. But Jesus Christ. So yeah, like he would strangle them first. He would strangle them with a chain attached to 2 wooden handles used by martial arts practitioners. Oh, the nunchaku. That's how he would. Nunchaku? I don't know. I don't remember. Nunchucks. Yeah, like that's how he would strangle them. He would just like take that and strangle them and then dismember them and just.
I'm sorry, but that's kind of a cringe way to be killed. Like really? I'd just be laughing at this.
Weeaboo.
I just be laughing at this guy as he's choking me with nunchucks. I don't care if I die. It's like, dude, really?
That's your method.
Why don't you here? Let me lend you a yo-yo. At least this thing has a string you can kill.
Oh God. But yeah, obviously, it's like it was just sad that it was just like those young kind of teenage boys or men, like 19-year-olds. Well, It's all about having power.
And
you know, like they were generally, because India is just so big, and there's many districts that are, right, like many parts of India that are very poor, and those, you know, those people generally were coming to New Delhi because their families were poor, and they were trying to find a job to send money back to the families. And it was just so sad, and they would just disappear. It's crazy.
That sucks.
That sucks. I don't know why, like when you were like IDK Bacon, like when you were talking about the Cleveland murders, the torso killer, like I just thought about this guy.
I mean, I can take a guess as to why, you know, dismemberment plus leaving it in front of the cops.
Yeah, like the playing with the law enforcement, right? Like, oh, playing cat and mouse.
So we just need to trace nunchucks back to 1938.
Nunchucks, yes. Yeah, I actually recommend the Netflix documentary, because of course Netflix got on it. But I actually recommend this documentary. It's called Indian Predator: The Butcher of Delhi, and it's pretty interesting. Like the documentary was pretty well made, and yeah, it's like in 3 parts. But yeah, if you guys are interested.
No,
I'd actually never heard of the Delhi case, and so I wanted to look it up. And don't forget the H, because then you'll get really confused like me.
Yeah, not the Delphi murders. It's Delhi, and not Delhi. Like
Delhi, like
meat.
In our
butcher.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I see a butcher, just like, oh, look at this ham. It's like,
No, it's the butcher of Delhi, as in like DELAI.
New Delhi.
New Delhi. But
yeah, I didn't put the New Delhi or the H, and it's like, oh crap. Wait, what?
Here are the like nice pieces of meat. May I interest you in some, I don't know, ham?
Would you like some roast beefs? Or no, I'm looking for a murderer, but okay.
The only crime here are these savings.
Oh God. But yeah,
the only murder that's going on are the prices to your wallet.
I think like the fun, like, well, I mean, one of the cases that are disturbing, but at the same time, well, I mean, it's like it is one of my favorite cases, but like the fun cases, like Axemen of New Orleans, or Orleans. I never.
That is a fun one.
That is a fun one.
New Orleans.
New Orleans, when he was
at least in American.
I really like the letters. He was just like, "Oh, jazz it up."
You say something about roast beef that reminded me. That's one of the things that made work terrible today. Because I work at Arby's and we opened up with absolutely no roast beef for like 2 hours.
So how do you work at an
How do you work at an Arby's and don't have roast beef? I mean, granted,
that's not supposed to happen.
Dorothy,
that's really not, especially when you consider that the roast beef at Arby's, like the roast beef sandwiches, are really subpar.
Okay. So the night manager is in charge of putting the roast beef for the day shift, and he did not put any roast beef for the day shift. So when we opened, we had no roast beef for like 2 hours. And the roast beef is something that's made continuously through the day and left on under a heat lamp on the slicer, so that the sandwiches are made like right then and there.
And the curious thing is, I hear that one of your coworkers went missing around that time.
What?
People roast beef.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Dorothy, would you say Arby's has something to hide? Should we be looking into it?
No. Also, I didn't. Also, you have no evidence I did anything.
No. I wasn't saying you. I was saying like, Arby's. Does Arby's have anything to hide?
I think Arbiter definitely has stuff to hide.
I wonder if Arby's.
Hey, Kronos, ask Arby real quick. Does he have something to hide?
Maybe Arby has something to hide.
Probably.
Wait,
no,
Arbiters are just like.
It's something to
hide. Is he in the chat?
I have nothing to hide. Nice.
Oh my gosh.
It's all their fault.
Everyone has something to hide.
You know, Bacon, that one case, I totally didn't know about that one, so that one was pretty good.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and like I said, I still want Sona to cover it because, it's a really good case. It's the case that, helped me find you. I got into BuzzFeed Unsolved through that case, and I was looking up a BuzzFeed Unsolved video whenever I found the ad for your channel, so that case has a special place in my heart, because, without it, I wouldn't have found you.
Hey.
So, yeah. But, and I left out a lot of stuff, like, one of the officers that was working the case did a funny. Yeah. You'll have to look into that.
Oh, God. I can, I can see that it's a longer case. It's definitely a lot of information.
Just
like the third suspect, and like I said, there's a whole Newcastle and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, things, and some think that the Black Dahlia was tied in with this. Yeah. So it's a really in-depth case, and it's very interesting, and I think even though I covered a lot of it here, I think you could still make a pretty good video on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, because I know you have a lot going on, Fear, with your schedule and cases and stuff, but the murders of the Yahweh cult.
Okay, we're gonna get to that.
I'm telling you, it is.
Take it away,
it is something
Kronos.
else. No, I don't. Again, I don't want to take from anyone else's, because, like I said, it might be about as long as what Bacon was saying. So
it's okay.
I just want to make sure that that everyone's good.
That's why we're here.
I'll take care of mine real quick. Don't worry, it won't take too long. Mine is going to be a sick weirdo named Albert Fish. If anyone's heard of him, I'm so sorry for you.
Wait, let me.
I haven't heard of him, but I'm guessing now I will.
He, out of all the serial killers I've ever heard of, he creeps me out the most. Hamilton, Albert Fish, childhood nickname Ham and Eggs, he hated it. He was a sick pedophile, a serial killer, and some claim he was a cannibal, but it's doubtful he really was a cannibal. He might have just upped those claims when he was trying to get the insanity plea. but for sure he killed little kids.
Also,
we
that's
know that
Panda,
for sure.
by the way.
Fuck this ham and eggs guy. Like,
what was it?
Not
Albert
literally.
Fish?
Not literally.
Yeah, Albert Fish, like fish as in the animal, and Albert as in Albert.
He looks a little bit like a fish.
He
could be like a catfish.
So keep in mind, this man got married 3 times and had 6 kids.
Okay,
So,
there, Casanova.
Yeah, this guy got married 3 times, and I can't even get a date. I hate this world. Anywho, this guy kind of grew up with an awful parents. He grew up part-time in an orphanage until his mom took him back like 6 years later. In that orphanage, he learned to develop a kind of love for pain. He would be whipped, and the other boys would be creeped out that he was smiling while he was whipped and beaten. He grew up into a sick individual. He had an absolute fascination with children.
You're sitting there saying he liked being whipped, but it's like that thing. It's like people say when you're getting bullied and they're being just lean into it, but like, oh, hit me harder, and they'll be like creeped out.
This guy did that.
I don't think it's one of those cases. No.
This guy did that and then got a PhD in the technique. Here's some of the things he liked to do that weren't murder. He liked to shove pins into his rectum, and I mean the starfruit, not just the cushiony piece. In fact, I'll upload something to the chat real quick. This is an X-ray that was taken after he was imprisoned.
They didn't have ballpoint pens, did they? These weren't like the fountain pens, were they?
No, these are like little sewing needle pins,
you meant like spawning pins.
That is 20. That is 29 nails.
I heard pens.
Probably pull it up on my stream because this is an X-ray. This should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard pens as in the writing implement.
Like pins as in like needles and things like that. Actually, one of those you see is long. It's a nail.
This is the X-ray of Albert Fish, and the pins,
lovely.
the needles, the pins.
That's just fantastic.
Oh, the long one on the left side. That's a nail.
Oh yeah,
yeah, man.
He would get them lost inside of him on purpose.
I'm guessing, he sat around for too long because I bet he was feeling pins and needles in his ass.
Oh my god.
He especially loved pins. Here's something that his youngest son, Albert Jr., caught him whacking himself with.
Also
and when he found it underneath the cabinet later, it was covered with blood and bits of gore.
Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna save that.
Someone's got a nasty imagination.
Wait, so this is what was this tool? Like his son was whipping
It's like a spatula that had nails driven through it that he would smack his bottom with.
Oh, like he was using this to like whip his son.
No, himself.
Oh, himself.
His son was whipping him.
Here's the thing. His kids said he's weird, but he was good to them. Like, he was really good to his daughters.
So,
like, they loved him, but they just knew he was weird.
I'm just gonna show... Like, I'm gonna download...
So horrified by this.
I mean, yeah. Wouldn't anyone be horrified by this?
The weirdest thing...
Pull up the picture of, like, Albert Fish from 1889. This is him, 1889.
He doesn't look as crazy as he is. I'll say that.
And then this is him. Wait, let me just pull up this is him from 1903. He grew the mustachio.
It's actually his mustache and his gray hair where he got his other moniker, the Gray Man.
Oh yeah.
He was called the Gray Man, the Moon Maniac, the Werewolf of Wisteria, and the Boogeyman.
Yeah.
This guy is messed up, but those are actually some really cool nicknames.
They are, and it doesn't make any sense.
But not his acts, just the nicknames. Holy shit!
I didn't even get to my favorite one yet. So he had a certain nickname for lower male parts.
No.
That he would call their monkey.
No.
And what he liked to do was take a rose and feed it to the monkey with the stem.
Also,
no.
mind you,
No.
this like
Oh,
I was like, we
no.
were talking about Albert Fish, and I just looked at it. His name wasn't Albert. I mean,
It was Hamilton.
It's like Hamilton Howard Fish. It's
I'm
like, where
about to
did
down
Albert
this
come from?
entire bottle of
He
beer
hated
just because
he
of
hated
that.
his name Hamilton
Oh.
because his schoolmates would call him Ham and Eggs.
Oh, so he would just like tell people like, oh, just call me Albert. For no reason whatsoever. Like, oh, this is like your middle name? No.
Hamilton.
So
I would have been Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, like DMJ, you would like to be called Hamilton, or?
Yeah, I would like that name.
Yeah, like
Well,
I
you
mean,
could-
it's a good name.
it's sounding better than Albert right now.
Well, I mean, Albert is also an but
Everything
it's
is
just kind of.
sounding better than Albert.
I feel bad because
So-
like, oh, there's Alberto is in the chat, and I'm like, I don't want to say that Albert is a bad name. Because it's a perfectly nice name. It's just now it has a different meaning.
This
So
man.
it's like, oh wait, hold on.
Well, Alberto wins in Scrabble because he has the extra letter, so he's the superior one.
Okay, Alberto is the superior Alberto.
So he's clearly weird. He had a super religious thing, especially with the story about Abraham and his sons, about the sacrifice. He actually killed a kid thinking that if he wasn't supposed to, an angel would stop him before he finished. No one showed up, so the kid died. His most famous murder, and it's because it was a little girl that just up and disappeared, and the family met him. He was going to trick their older sons to coming onto his farm, and he's going to kill both sons, but he saw the little girl and was like, nope, that's the one.
Is it the Grace Bud? Is that the one?
Yes, Grace Bud. There's a
right.
famous letter, which if any of you don't want to have a soul anymore, you can go read the Grace Bud letter.
No. Oh no.
She did not make it, and he was all too happy to relate that to the parents. When rumors of the newspapers made it sound like she might still be alive, he was like,
Christ.
oh no, she's dead. I should let the parents know. It's actually that letter that he sent, or the envelope the letter was sent in, that actually got him caught by the police.
Oh, and like, oh god, okay, so I'm sorry to cut in, like, I'm just reading it, and
by all
I think
means.
that most, like, I saw this and it's just, like, so heartbreaking, but the heartbreaking part is that Grace's mother, the little girl's mother, was illiterate, and she could not read the letter herself. So she got the letter, but she couldn't read it, so she had, like, her son to read it for her.
Yeah.
Oh god, why?
I didn't say it was my...
Please tell me that the family got to see this bastard swing.
So so I'll finish it out with that. Albert Fish was caught, he was convicted, he did not get the insanity plea. He's definitely crazy, but because he hid the bodies and because he seemed to know what his actions were, he did not get the insanity plea, so he was eventually electrocuted to death in the electric chair.
Thank fuck.
Yep.
Which there's a famous quote to go with it. Basically, he was thrilled, but he also wanted to say that he shouldn't have been killed. He shouldn't be killed anyway. But yeah, so
same with those kids.
So I want to say that there was something dramatic, or he let out a cackle as he died, but really it was an uneventful thing. And so the newspapers went to the parents that night after Albert Fish had died, went up to the doorstep and asked the mother, Albert Fish has just been killed. How do you feel? And the mother just gave the reporter a glare and slammed the door.
Yeah, because like, why would you ask that question? Like, how is she supposed to feel?
Now, Alberto, actually, the dude wasn't mocking the mother too much.
Okay.
He did it because he felt bad, because...
But still.
It's actually thought that he felt bad that he killed a girl after he had done it. Like, he gave into his urges, and because he loved his daughters the most, he realized what he had done, and all that stuff I was talking about, the pins, the human vase, the paddle, all that started after he killed Grace Bud.
So
and
was
his
he,
kids
like,
actually
punishing himself, or like, is that?
Yeah, the kids actually said that he would scream the name Grace in his sleep sometimes. So it's not so much that he was mocking the mother, more like he regretted it, but he's such a broken person that he also enjoyed that it was something so sinful. Like, he got off in the court of people describing the things he did. Like, I could go into more, but you can just look it up, or you can listen to podcasts about the guy. He's the creepiest and most fascinating serial killer, and I wish to any sentient grand being that he did not exist.
Yeah, I mean, oh god, okay, I'm still processing because it's.
I need a drink.
That's why I asked, how disturbing are we getting?
I would like to go
Yeah.
back to the 5 minutes ago when I didn't know about this guy.
Oh my god.
I
think we all do.
I agree.
We all do.
All right, Kronos, take it away.
Unfortunately, my case is not going to be any better. Just to let everybody know. If you thought that one was a doozy, this one just kind of amps it up a little bit. So
what do you mean? I didn't think that you
no.
get any worse.
Trust me, this gets worse.
This
is
what was the name?
May I go first then? So, because mine is more disturbing on the account of the police incompetence of the case, as opposed to the case itself.
Sure.
And I want to. It's the murder of Eby Stac, and it starts when she goes to a party on October 23rd of 2015. And on the 24th, she tells her parents that she was assaulted by 4 men at the party and that she was going to go to the police. And then she left and they couldn't get in contact with her, and they just assumed because she had told them that there's a video recording of the event that she on a cell phone.
Sorry, what's her name again? I just wanted to pull it up.
Eby Stac.
Okay, continue.
And
I think I might have heard of this one.
Well, so they tried to contact her after that, but they couldn't get contact her, and they just assumed that she went to get the recording for the police, and they didn't really get contact her until about 2 p.m. the next day when she called her brother, and he said that she was kind of disoriented during the conversation, and she said that she parked outside his house, but when he went out there, he didn't see her. But then she kind of disappeared after that, and then on the 27th, a security guard found her car abandoned in a parking lot near a wooded area, and he called the police and waited 2 hours, and the police never showed up. And he went back the next day, and the car was still there, and he called the police again, and that's when they went investigated the car. And they didn't really do much investigation, and on this page, on the page I'm on for the Cliff's Notes, it doesn't say, but they did leave. See, the car had no gas, the battery's dead, and the keys were in the ignition. And one of the things the police did was they left all the car doors open, the trunk open, and overnight when it rained, so pretty much any evidence that would have been left in the car got washed away by the rain, got contaminated by the rain. And then so she was declared missing for like several years, and the police did a search, but they couldn't find her. But the family kept searching the area, and one of the things that they kept reporting was like this smell. After a while, there was the smell that they kept reporting near one of the storm drains in the air near where the car was found. But the police kept saying, "Oh, it's just probably an animal that died in the storm drain." Well, eventually, they got someone to investigate the storm drain, and that's where they found her body stuffed in the storm drain. So she had been there the entire time, and then the police finally did the investigation of it, and they pretty much declared it she did it to herself. She just climbed into the storm drain.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I love that. I love that.
I mean, don't we all take naps in storm drains?
I thought.
But the thing is, like, when you look at, it's like, I don't have a picture of it, but it's like when you look at how where her body was found in the drain, as opposed to how it's there was no way she could have gotten herself where her body was found.
Jeez,
oh man, I love that.
I might have heard of it because like the name rings a bell. I think I've heard of this case before.
Didn't the cops search the storm drain beforehand and they didn't find anything?
I'm
pretty sure I've heard of this case. Like,
I think it's what it was is they opened it, they looked down it, and then they closed it. They didn't really actually look in the storm drain.
Okay,
like
yeah,
they didn't look
that's
deep. They just like kind of okay, there's nothing here.
Exhibit
It's like-
1,500
it's
of
dark
why
in
the
there.
police
We're
are.
good.
And the family believes like what is probably like the 4 guys that assaulted her at the party, or at least one of them that did it, and they tried to get the police to investigate that, and they did talk to them, but that's pretty much all they did with to those 4 guys. So it's like
You gotta love it.
it's like
Jesus
the police
Christ.
just pretty much did not want to investigate it at all, and they did not.
Police doing police things, man.
I don't know if the cops dropped the ball or if they didn't have the ball to begin with.
That reminds
They didn't have
me
the
of,
ball
like,
to begin.
Didn't even show up to the game.
That reminds me of like there's a story about how cops were looking for this missing girl in her car, and they were searching all over for this. I can't remember what state this happened, but there was like this lake nearby, and the police like, yeah, we already investigated. And these volunteer scuba divers who like volunteer to search lakes and investigate bodies of water, like, hey, we're here to help. We're nearby. We can search the lake for you. And the police like, nah, we searched it. You don't have to worry about it. And we're like, are you sure? Maybe you need more pairs of hands and eyes. And the cop's like, we already did it, but don't, if you want to, go ahead. And they search, and then when the first hour, they found the car in the lake with the girl in the car.
Jesus Christ.
Wait,
I know that.
Did this dive team, did they make YouTube videos?
Yeah, I think they're like adventures.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
Adventures
about.
with Purpose. I know who you're talking
They've
about.
solved a lot of cases from diving the lakes and stuff,
Yeah.
and actually doing the cops'
Yeah,
jobs for
I
them.
think I know this too. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I mean,
the
the main guy does have a past, but I mean, what they're doing is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for
like,
sharing that.
Yeah, Dorothy, thank you so much
that
for
story there.
I
That's,
think I've heard of this case before because, like, I
Yeah.
think the name rings a bell, but I don't.
It's a unique name.
I might have like seen it on like in YouTube Shorts or TikTok or something, and it was like pretty short summary. So like because it rings a bell.
I first came across it on the Coffee House Crime YouTube channel.
Oh yeah. I think that's true. Like I watched that channel too. Shout out.
Damn.
Adrian, if you want to collab.
Heck yeah, man. Let's get that
Hit me
collab
up.
going.
I would tell you do a collab with Coffee House Crime. That's a very chill channel. Yeah, okay, that's the storm drain. Okay, that's I pulled up the Eby's picture on the screen, so this is Eby, the girl that we were talking about, that Dorothy was talking about.
Oh, she has a. How old was she when it happened?
She was 18.
Oh,
Lovely.
so young. Jesus. I think it's
She
like
was
those,
a senior in high school.
I think those are like the most kind of like heart-wrenching, like either children or like young people. For some reason, it's
too
just
young.
like, damn, like
Yeah.
like high school, middle school kids, just kids, and like like even college. It's just kind of like, wow, their life didn't even start. Like they didn't even get a chance to start.
Yeah.
Look at me talking as if I'm like seasoned in life, and I'm
You might as well be with all the stories and
I
shit.
mean, you've got over 100,000 people, over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think that's pretty well seasoned.
No, I meant like age-wise. Look at me.
Oh, yeah.
Sounding
You're getting old,
like
girl.
like I've experienced so much in my life. I don't know shit. I don't know anything.
Hey, you've been to more countries than I have, that's for sure, and I'm older than you.
Yeah, I still feel like I don't know anything. I still feel like the moment I hit like 18, like, oh, I stopped at that. Like I'm not like mentally, I'm just still stuck there. I'm just like, what?
Same.
I'm not 89. I'm still 18.
Tell that to my back.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, Kronos. Kronos, what about you?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. The picture I'm posting in chat, the gentleman on the left, if you can post that up.
Yeah.
That's a bear.
On it.
The gentleman on the left is Michael Ryan, and he was the leader of the Yahweh cult. Now, Yahweh is another name for God, if you guys don't know that.
Isn't that like his actual name?
Yes, his actual name was Yahweh.
Yeah.
So, I wrote a lot of cliff notes on this. So, please forgive me if it sounds like I'm reading off a script, because I'm literally reading off of things I've written down here.
Oh, because his name was Yahweh Ben Yahweh or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he was born Hulon Mitchell Jr. or Holland Mitchell Jr. I don't know.
I would think Holland.
Holland?
Or who?
Yeah.
Asshole.
Asshole.
Brian, this guy.
My baby asshole.
Yeah, he was influenced by white supremacist teachings, manipulated and brainwashed followers with fear and misinformation, leading to the torture and murder of young Luke Stice and James Them. And it's like last name Them, Them.
Oh.
Members were subjected to severe abuse and degradation, including forced sex acts and violent punishments, all in the name of Ryan's twisted interpretation of religious doctrines. Eventually, all of them came to light when 2 members confessed to authorities, resulting in the discovery of the victims' bodies and the arrests of Ryan and other cult members. Really quickly, you guys already know, these cases remind us of the dangers of religious extremism and the devastating consequences it can have on innocent lives, because, Fear, you've covered multiple cases of religious cults and other things in general. Yeah. So, this one's a doozy, guys, so I hope you're sat down and process everything, because it's a doozy. So,
I was gonna say, he sounds like the stereotypical depiction of what people consider politicians.
Or that too, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. So in August of 1985, on the rural farming town of Rulo, Nebraska, that's R-U-L-O, Rulo, Nebraska, the bodies of a 5-year-old boy named Luke Stice and a local man named James, aged 26 at the time, were discovered on an 80-acre farm associated with the white supremacist Christian identity movement. The victims had reportedly been brutally tortured before they were killed.
That doesn't sound very Christian-like.
I know.
Let's be real here.
The slightest.
I mean, it's definitely Old Testament.
Yep, you're on. You know what, Kanto? You're onto something. So I'll get to that.
Oh, God.
The cult's leader, Michael Wayne Ryan, had been influenced by the notorious white supremacist James Wickstrom and his teachings, leading Ryan to become a cold, callous, and evil leader who ended the lives of Luke and James. In the 80s, basically, many farmers faced devastating farm crises, leading to some to turn to religion for help. And Ryan, being a high school dropout who worked several manual labor jobs, he then became a truck driver, was searching for something to give him strength when he was introduced to the Christian identity movement through Wickstrom. At one of Wickstrom's rallies, Ryan met Rick Stice, who owned an 80-acre pig farm in Rulo. When Sandra Stice became ill with Hodgkin's disease, the family turned to Wickstrom. The family turned to faith healers for help and sought guidance. So, from when I read this and when I found out about this, I'm like, all right, obviously people are being manipulated when they're at their lowest. So what does this one guy do? He starts claiming that he can speak to God, and we all know what happens with that. So
it's true all the time, every time.
He's seen light.
Yep.
He's seen
oh my God, he can talk to God. Maybe I should, join his not cult religion.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
So, Michael Ryan, who was leader of the cult, obviously recruited new members, including a 23-year-old Mennonite named James Them, by promising spiritual guidance and salvation. Many people were drawn to the movement due to their desperate situations and had no idea of the horrors that were to come. Ryan, of course, used fear and misinformation to brainwash his followers who believed in the impending war of Armageddon and the need to accumulate weapons and supplies. He also manipulated followers into obeying him by claiming to speak directly with Yahweh and having the spirit of the Archangel Michael within him. Ryan's control extended to his personal life. He forced Cheryl Haverkamp, the sister of one of his early followers, to leave her husband and marry him, instilling fear and further separating her from her family. Despite Ryan's abusive behavior, including adultery and molestation, his followers remained loyal, leading to the tragic events that unfolded, where James, them, and Ryan's 5-year-old son, Luke, were ultimately killed. Now, I'm just letting you guys know, from this point on, this is your warning, it's where it gets a little brutal and a little violent. Okay, so...
Just double checking. His name, what is his name?
Michael Ryan.
Michael W. Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah, so that Hulan
so
guy...
Okay.
It's a totally different thing. Sorry, we just had to clear that up because... Yeah, I had to clear that up because I was like, wait, this doesn't seem like... Wait,
yeah, because I was looking up the Yahweh thing.
Yeah, I googled Yahweh cult, and that's what came up. Yahweh.
I apologize. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Ryan. Who he? There probably was multiple, but the one I'm talking about was.
Yeah. So anyone who's following along and just looking at it too with us. Yeah,
Sorry
Michael
about
W.
that.
Ryan brings it up.
You can look up Michael W. Ryan. That's the one.
Michael W.
Grab
Ryan.
another drink because I'm probably gonna need it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you guys need to like stretch or like absorb the information real quick, please do, because
don't worry, I got my pee bottle right over here.
It's a doozy. So when I was reading this and researching this, Fear, you've covered, like I said, a lot of cases. But for me, this one just hit home for me because of being people being manipulated and abused. So, this is where it gets really fun. Not really fun, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
So, Michael Ryan, the awesome leader, made a speech in December of 1984, warning members about jealousy and the consequences of leaving the commune. He threatened to hunt down and kill those who attempted to leave, instilling fear and despair. In early 1985, however, doubt began to rise among some members, including James, Rick Stice, and even 5-year-old Luke. Ryan claimed he could read their thoughts and punished them accordingly, demoting them to slave status or even subjecting young Luke to horrific acts such as making him eat meals off the floor, rolling him in the snow, and drenching him with ice water. So he did that to a 5-year-old child, because he claimed he can read their thoughts.
And I thought it was bullshit when I got a timeout.
Yeah, and it gets even better.
On trumped up
the
charges.
followers were also forced to perform degrading and violent acts against each other, including but not limited to sodomy and bestiality.
Oh God, no! Why?
You heard that right, sodomy and bestiality.
What the heck?
In March of '85, Ryan claimed that Yahweh demanded further punishment for James, Rick, and Luke, leading to the tragic murder of young Luke. Rick and James were then forced to bury 5-year-old Luke in a shallow grave without marking it.
Why?
And I'm not even done. I know.
Oh
So not only did they kill the kid, they buried him in an unmarked grave. So there's that, right? A few days later, Rick was forced to have sex with the goat on the farm on 3 separate occasions.
Okay.
You heard that correctly. The cult members' complicity in this heinous act is condemned, and it gets much worse than that. So if you thought the killing of Luke and then being buried in an unmarked grave was bad, and then making Rick have sex with the goat on the farm was bad, that's not even the worst part.
I feel bad for the goat.
It's worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So while Ryan and his wife Lisa were on their honeymoon, Ryan appointed his son Dennis and Timothy Haverkamp to oversee the farm. Rick Stice saw an opportunity to escape, but upon his return, he was chained to the porch as a warning. On one occasion, Rick was allowed to go to town to cash his Social Security check, but he took the chance to escape again because I'm pretty sure anybody would not want to be there.
Yeah, anybody would
with a
take the
rational
chance.
brain. So, when Ryan realized, now remember, Ryan is the cult leader, when Ryan realized Rick had officially escaped, he took his anger out on James Them. And again, the last person's name is Them. I know it's a weird name. So, what happened to poor James, you ask? James was subjected to various forms of torture, including being chained to the porch, denied food, and forced to have sex with the farm goat in front of the group, in front of everybody.
Is it like the same goat?
Yes.
Poor goat.
Also,
they
poor
only
goat.
had one goat.
What did the goat ever do to Ryan?
I don't know.
Like there was, I see that there was more. They were like shooting off his fingertips too, and skinning him alive.
Yes. So Ryan believed James had poisoned a turkey for some reason. So Ryan just believes James is doing everything. And after accusations, forced him to eat the dry turkey meat. When James didn't get sick, Ryan again took his anger out on him once again. This time chaining him to an old barn and allowing different men within the cult to take turns violently beating him.
Oh my god.
Wait. So he got mad at him because he thought he poisoned the turkey.
Yes,
and then he got mad at him because
when he didn't die.
Because he didn't poison the turkey.
Yeah.
No, he got mad because Ryan didn't. He got mad because James did not die from eating the poisoned turkey. Supposedly.
But the turkey wasn't like at the end of the day, like the turkey wasn't poisoned.
The turkey wasn't poisoned. It was all just a ruse. This was just an excuse for Ryan
to be violent.
So, poor James was raped with the handle of a shovel while men took turns molesting him.
Hey, Fear, are your videos still monetized?
I'm sorry, this is probably going to get this one demonetized.
I am gonna, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna turn it off. Like the monetization. I don't remember if I left the monetization on or off. I might have.
Well, I don't think. I think the monetization was already gone when we got.
I think that was already gone.
I mean,
I turned it off. I turned it off. Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, now let's go crazy.
It's not on.
Well, ladies.
When we got to the gray man, the monetization has already left.
Yeah.
I think it probably went bye-bye with the Cleveland torso.
So make sure to join that Patreon.
Yeah, no kidding. Support because bye-bye.
Yeah, this this video cannot be monetized. Absolutely not.
Probably
poor James has been through a lot at this point already. He's been raped with a shovel, molested, made to have sex with a goat, and eat poisoned turkey meat, supposedly.
After you said all that within a minute, this video ain't getting monetized.
Yeah.
Poor James was also forced to sign over his car title to Timothy Haverkamp as a birthday present. The men took breaks from their abuse, but soon returned to continue torturing James, showing him no mercy. Yeah. Yeah. After being subjected to 150 lashes on James's back, he was untied and forced to lay down.
Oh god, no.
Where he received an additional 15 lashes to his front side. The men then took turns shooting off James's fingers and thumb with a pistol.
Oh my god.
And when he could no longer cry out in pain, they kicked his arm until it broke and stomped on his chest, killing him.
Also, wait a minute. This dude had a car, right? And
yes.
He went to town and tried escaping. Was he driving his car to escape?
I gotta imagine they
not sure. I think he was
with him.
I'm not too sure if he had the car. The case doesn't say if he did, but I imagine he was.
Maybe he didn't.
I don't think he was allowed to drive the car.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume that he wasn't allowed to.
Maybe took a bus or something, and then they just kind of followed him.
If it is a cult, he's got to be heavily restricted. Like that's just how cults work.
I'm pretty sure they follow him or something, like, to just make sure.
Oh yeah. So James had a pretty horrific torture and death from everything that I just described to you, but of course Michael, he demanded one final act of dominance and ordered a member to shoot James in the head.
But James was already dead.
Yeah, so James is already dead by this point, but Michael was like, no, shoot him in the head. So yeah, here's how Michael was caught. So Jim and John Haverkamp, who had been arrested for stealing farm machinery in Kansas, they confessed to the authorities about the crimes committed at the farm under Michael. The authorities then searched the farm and discovered the bodies of James and Luke. Michael, his son Dennis, and other male cults were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. An autopsy revealed the horrific abuse James suffered before his death. Yeah. Michael and Dennis Ryan went on trial, with Timothy Haverkamp already pleading guilty to a lesser sentence. The cult members' justifications, of course, were that it was what Yahweh wanted. Michael and Dennis were both found guilty, with Michael receiving the death sentence and Dennis a life sentence, but both were released before the end of their sentences. Jim and John pleaded guilty to assault charges and were sentenced to 26 years in prison, but again, both were also released before completing their sentences. The cool thing is that Michael Ryan, the leader, he died in prison in 2015, still believing that the crimes he committed, again, were in the name of his god, Yahweh.
Delulu.
Somehow,
yes.
I don't believe that they were in the name of Yahweh.
Yeah. Right. Now, Kanto was onto something with what he was saying, because the Yahweh cult believed in a literal interpretation of the Old Testament, believed that God commanded them to kill their own children who they believed were born with, quote, defects. So I did not even go over that. The children that were born with defects at the farm were brutally murdered. They were often beaten, starved, or buried alive.
Oh God, why?
Yeah, you're in a good cult when there's a broken baby pile.
Yeah. So, the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is cults are horrible, especially when it's claiming to be from someone who believes that they speak with Yahweh or God.
I can see that he kind of, I don't know, maybe I missed it if you mentioned it, but like he kind of spent the rest of his days in prison, like rewriting the Bible.
It did not show that, no, but that would make sense that he would do that.
Just like the what's his name, Michael Ryan, like he spent the rest of his life in prison just rewriting the Bible.
That sounds like something he would do.
At least he rotted in prison and died, but still. He never took responsibility. He said it was all because God wanted him to do it, or God spoke through to him.
Dude, coincidentally, when, like, obviously horrible case, but coincidentally when we mix this case up with the other case is also pretty horrible. It's the case of the Hulan Mitchell. That's the case of Nation of Yahweh. And it's also another cult, and he was, he also kind of proclaimed himself as like, speaking to God, and he's the cult leader, and he's like Messiah or something, and he was, from what I see, through forced circumcision, he demanded loyalty of male followers, and then like him together with like 15 of his followers, they also kind of, what is it? Well, they have first victims were those who challenged his authority, obviously, like if they rebelled, if they wanted to leave. So same thing. Jesus, everything's the same.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that the males and the females were housed separately on the farm. So all the males lived in one thing.
Yeah.
All the females lived in another, and all they were supposed to do was cook and clean and feed the males.
But I bet he got special acceptance.
He did. I forgot to tell you, Michael, he had 6 wives.
Of course he did.
He married 6 of the women. He made 2 of them divorce their husbands, and he married them. And he had illegitimate children with a few of them. And again, the ones that had, quote, defects were instantly killed.
Oh God, why?
So,
what a piece of shit.
Again, the torso murders, really horrible. The case of the girl in the storm drain, really horrible. Kanta with yours, really horrible. Just all these are really horrible, and I'm not saying that.
Disturbing.
I think that everyone in the chat also was just like, I feel physically sick.
After reading this, I literally did feel physically sick just reading and watching. There's a lot of documentaries about this, like Michael's first wife went on a documentary talking about it. I mean, there's a lot on YouTube that talk about it. If you guys really want to watch more, but I'm telling you, I mean, even reading that over again, I feel actually sick to my stomach because poor James just got brutally tortured and just murdered.
And here's why I know.
And then the child, the little 5-year-old.
Like, what did a 5-year-old do? Nothing.
If I remember correctly, he was being punished for trying to escape.
You know, the ironic thing is that aren't James and Luke like books in the Bible?
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
What do you think
they're
they'd be like
chapters? Yeah, no.
Ryan is not.
And this is how I know I'm an awful person, because I just had the intrusive thought. You think when they buried James, the shovel they used?
No,
you think it was a different shovel?
Oh my God.
Oh man, Concept, come on.
Probably the same shovel.
You're banned.
There was like a shovel. I think like they mentioned a shovel and a pickaxe. There were 2.
Yep, that's what they used to molest James with,
I'm not
while the other males did.
So here's my intrusive thought. Michael's sitting there and he dies in prison, and he follows the light. He's getting all excited, and he gets there, and the first words that greet him are, "Welcome to hell."
Literally.
Like, oh, shit.
Actually, no. Satan was probably like, the devil probably looked at him and like, dude, you did shit worse than me. You're going at the very bottom, man. You're going at the 9th level.
You don't even
that harkens back to that one meme. Let me just say, I'm a big fan.
God, why?
Literally.
I'd like him to actually go to
just
heaven.
Puts his hand on his shoulders like, I'm gonna have fun.
I'd actually like him to go to heaven and then just see like it's Beyonce, and he'd lose his mind.
It's Beyonce.
Yeah. So I know this was a little bit long. I appreciate everyone sitting down and watching me and listening to me read my cliff notes and stuff. But at the end of the day, this. Again, Fear, you've covered a lot of gruesome cases.
Yeah.
There's the Hello Kitty murders.
Yes, those ones. But for some reason, this one just physically made me uncomfortable. Like I was squeaming in my chair, and just made me just disgusted.
Again, because it's like young, like child, and it's just a brutal, like very brutal form of torture, and it's just, you know, like how can you be a monster like that? How can you just live with yourself? How can you?
And these people believed him, though. That's the thing.
But like again, like he was, even when he was put in prison, like how can you be like ballsy enough to just like, okay, I'm gonna live my life till the end?
Because eventually you become so broken that you have to buy your own life, or you just
I guess that's true.
You just have to dive in, because otherwise you have to look at who you are.
I just saw in the chat, Baxter says Hitler.
Baxter,
dude, what the fuck?
Dude, what the yeah, Hitler literally was probably like, dude, I mean, I did some shit, but like.
Also, I'm sorry, I missed Jose's super chat. Jose texted, "That's a beautiful story, Bacon." That was to Bacon's case.
Oh, thank you.
I think
the only thing that story didn't have was legs.
Yeah, so I don't know if
I'm assuming it was
for you to cover, but like this one, there's way more to it than what I put down. I was just kind of taking everything and putting it into a chunk.
I'm sure
stuff that
there's
makes
like
sense.
a lot of like this is kind of like summary of the case.
Oh yeah.
Same with Albert Fish. Look up into like how he describes his murders. It's fucked.
Again, yeah, these are just like little synopsises, but like the whole Yahweh cult with Michael Ryan. I'm telling you, it changes your perspective of thinking and like
absolutely
understanding. Again, being on this channel though,
there's several cases like that I heard of about like cults, right? Like obviously like the Manson, family, that was like cultish. Who else? Like the Jamestown, that was horrible too. Like it wasn't.
Is that the one where they poisoned? They all poisoned themselves.
Yeah, they all
thinking
like,
they were going to go to a
like
different
planet. They forced the children to kind of take it too.
And the poor monkey.
Yep, and the monkey.
And the monkey. And then the asshole didn't take it. The asshole was trying to like run away or something. Like he didn't actually take it.
No, I think he shot himself in the head.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay, he shot himself. I thought it was like he was trying to get away or something, but then he shot himself because like he knew that they were surrounded already.
Yeah.
But just imagine how many bodies are tied to Scientology that we don't know about yet.
Oh, probably a
Scientology.
ton.
Oh yeah, that's gonna come out. That's gonna come out in like, I don't know, 30, 50 years. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out. Like,
yeah. Also, sorry, before I forget, on a random side note, I don't know if you guys heard this already, but they found another Boeing whistleblower who died of, quote, mysterious circumstances.
What?
Let me guess,
look it
those
up.
mysterious
Another one.
circumstances are 2 bullets to the back of the head that they're calling
Right.
No,
suicide.
No, he got onto a Boeing.
No, you
went for a
guys
fly.
have to look it up. This guy was healthy, he was active, and then all of a sudden he got really sick, and then he literally died 2 days later. And this doctor said that they had never seen anything like it.
What the fuck is going on?
He had fluids and like shit covering his lungs. But he worked for Boeing in like the quality control department,
Is
and
that
kept
guy?
telling them, "Hey, yeah."
Dude, like I saw like an interview. Well, I mean, I read an interview with him on like CNN, and he was mentioning something like, oh, like he worked in quality control, and then like, oh, he was kind of pointing out the like what cuts they did, like, right, like, oh, they were just taking cuts in production and safety. And then didn't he mention like, oh, if I die, this is not out of my own will? Like, didn't he mention?
Oh yeah,
like,
no,
and
his family even said like he was the healthiest person ever. He always went on runs. He worked out.
Yeah, I mean, he's
and then
45,
mysteriously
and
he got quote sick from something, and then he said he had a hard time breathing. He was in the hospital, and then days later he was on life support and then died. And the doctor said, quote, "I have never seen anything like this in my medical career."
What the fuck is going on?
So apparently, Boeing being a Boeing whistleblower is as safe as being a volcanic, enthusiast or something, because apparently they just kill you. So sorry, I know that was kind of random, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Right? Like, there's a
How do they even know who's gonna blow the whistle?
Because all the whistleblowers are people that have worked like either in quality.
Right,
like
for
the first whistleblower, he had something to do. It wasn't quality control, but it was something to do with.
He worked for Boeing or something like that.
In the factories or something like that.
Yeah,
like he did interview. Like it was in the factory. So it's all these people that either work in the factories or quality control or something to do with the planes themselves.
Well, John Oliver did like a really good segment about it, and like there was like hidden footage of someone going through the Boeing factories, and like they were asking other employees, right? It was like, "Hey, would you get on one of these?" And almost all of them said no, except for the one, and he joked that no, but I just have a death wish. Like every one of them was like, "No, I don't want to get on this."
Yeah, you know what? Again,
guy, sorry to cut in. Like this guy said the Wall Street Journal that he had been fired for pointing out that holes in jet fuselages had been drilled wrong, and he was fired from like in April 2023 from like Spirit Aerosystems in 2023, and he complained later that his termination was in retaliation. And
yeah, so they fired him for quote missing something.
How the fuck are you gonna fire someone for noticing a fuselage has been drilled wrong?
Because they're gonna lose money, and they have to spend more money on actual.
Yeah, but here's the problem. a lawsuit can net you, you know, like a lot worse. Because, you know, this happened back in the 70s with the Ford Pinto, right?
Yeah.
These cars, they found out, like, early on that they had a problem with the shocks going into the gas tank, sparking and causing a fire.
It wasn't
And
like a $500 fix that ended up costing them like
not even.
millions?
It was $11 at least
was
back
it?
in those days. Yeah, $11 per car, and like, or maybe not even. Maybe it was 11 cents. I don't remember. But you know, they determined that was more than, you know, what they'd have to pay out in lawsuits. Well, the judge residing over that case, they made sure that judge, they made sure that didn't happen. They had to pay a lot more than what they calculated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
late stage capitalism.
I agree with Baxter. What he just said in the chat.
Oh yeah.
I agree with you
imagine,
100%, Baxter.
Let me just read it. Can you imagine if a company, when finding out something is wrong with their product, actually took the time to fix it and let everyone know why they're fixing it? That would be insane.
Oh,
that would
man.
be insane.
Mind blowing. My head would explode.
They just had all those recalls on the Tesla truck or the Cybertruck, whatever.
They did. They had all those recalls.
Oh, yeah.
Because the pedal could get stuck.
Yeah.
In like full acceleration. Yeah, you see, Baxter's right. But I'm sorry we totally derailed off of most disturbing true crime cases.
And this is why Elon Musk
had to share it because Penguin, Penguin Z. You guys know who Penguin Z is, obviously. Charlie, he couldn't even believe it because I was watching a stream and someone said, "Hey, another whistleblower died," and he was like, "Oh, that's a bunch of crap." And then he looked it up and he was like, "Oh my gosh," and he couldn't believe it. And I'm like, and like you said, Fear, if it's Boeing, I ain't going.
Yeah, I ain't going. I don't know. Like, I mean, I had to get on a Boeing like when I was going.
Oh, jeez.
It's unfortunate that you don't have much of a choice.
That's true because most of the airplanes are Boeing.
It's either a Boeing or an Airbus.
But like Airbus, there's not that many because Airbus is smaller. So like,
and
there's
you know
not
what?
that
If
many.
Boeing, you know, Boeing is just going to sweep it under the rug, and the government's going to sweep it under the rug because Boeing has military contracts, plane contracts. Or if they went under, it would just destroy everything. So you know, they got to go hush hush. He died of mysterious circumstances. He got somehow really sick, even though he was healthy. Oh, that guy who got shot in the head, you know, saying, "Hey, this isn't me." So it's almost like they're blatantly doing it now and just like saying, "Hey, we're just gonna kill you if you're a whistleblower and you reveal shit." So
crazy! I didn't know there was a second one. I knew this guy like from like a different article because he was talking about like how he used to work for Boeing. Crazy.
Yep. 45 years old and healthy, and then develops a very horrible, mysterious illness that kills him.
Crazy.
Don't know Chief on that one, so
I mean, it's just gotta be. I mean, hopefully, you know, this is gonna call attention, like more attention to Boeing, and like people are gonna just look at their hands, you know, just pay attention and just be like, okay, pressure them to, you know, change, to improve, or like to get the fuck out. I don't know, like to fix their shit.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny? As you're saying that, Fear, when that news hit yesterday, Boeing's stock dropped over 15 points.
Yeah.
And then today it went back up a little bit, but as soon as that news hit,
because it's tanked. Like this is serious.
And they literally only focused on their stocks instead of making their planes better.
Yeah, like ever since that merger with what is it, like McDonald something, like they were
McDonnell Douglas.
Yeah,
McDonnell Douglas. Yeah.
Douglas. Like they've been just focusing, like apparently, like that was the shift in mentality. It's like not about quality. It was like corporate, like about the stocks, like the stock price.
Did you apparently? What's his name? John? Is that his name? The guy who died?
Yeah.
John, right?
Dean John. Wait, no.
Whatever.
John Jacob Jingleheimer.
Yeah, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Yeah.
I'm helping.
Well, the recent one is Joshua Dean.
Yeah, Josh. He said that he found out that they were using sheet metal to cover up deformities. Sheet metal. I'm like, Cool. That's awesome. So
Right,
the
like,
plane
you're
I'm
putting-
flying in could have
yeah.
sheet metal.
You're putting like people's
know.
lives, so many people's lives every day, because there's thousands of flights.
Again, over 300 people died from those 2 flights. So, I mean, how many more people need to die before they're like, maybe we should investigate this?
Easy.
You know?
It just takes the rich people to die first.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like if someone rich and influential dies because of it.
Oh yeah, like if Elon Musk died
just-
from it, then
just
you
watch
know
out
the
for
government
that.
would be all
Yeah,
over
watch
it.
out for that news to break, and like, oh, then there's gonna be like a full-on investigation. Like, oh my god, okay, every Boeing is grounded. Like, oh,
Yep.
you know,
Watch.
help.
I'm gonna call it right now.
No flights.
Some important person or a dignitary or a government person is gonna die from the plane crashing, and then miraculously the government's gonna do subpoenas and
Yeah, they'll be like,
talk to all the
"Gasp,
Boeing
okay,
officials.
It's like, oh no, this is serious. Like, wait a minute, wasn't it serious when 300 people died? Like, okay.
Yeah, wasn't it? And then all the families are like, "What about my son? Was he not serious?"
was
and
that
like,
not
"Oh,
serious? Excuse me."
no, he
But that's just
he
how it's always
collateral
been.
Many
damage."
followers.
Yeah, like,
That's what they'll say.
It's
Yeah, sorry. I know that, again, that took
No,
away
it's
from the
okay.
whole.
No,
I just
mean,
kind of wanted to change the vibe a little bit because the last case was really gruesome.
it's okay.
So
Well, I mean,
Well,
this one is like very, calming.
I mean,
It's not very
I mean,
calming.
this one isn't very calming either. But it's
plus, that's
but,
how
you know.
the last episode
it-
ended.
Well, the Boeing thing still fits into the theme of the.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Green.
It is disturbing that
It's
someone did
disturbing.
miraculously die from illness. Quote. I put that in quote because that's what they don't know what he died from.
It's kind of like,
So-
I
And,
don't know, like the.
He died of an upset tummy. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
What criminal?
He ate
speaking
a bad orange.
Yeah,
Tangerine.
he ate a-
Oh, wait, tangerine.
No, he
Yeah.
died of a poison turkey. It's common.
Oh yeah, poison.
Yeah, a
turkey.
poison turkey.
Jesus.
I heard those are
Yeah.
common.
Oh,
Speaking of the theme of the stream, I just had another case pop into my head, so I had to look it up real quick.
Sure.
Okay, so see, you just popped up the Issei Sagawa, who was born to
I
a
know
wealthy
that.
family in Japan. What he did was when he went to France to study to get a PhD in literature, he murdered one of his classmates and butchered her and ate part of her, and then he was arrested, and his wealthy father got him a lawyer that got him declared legally insane,
Yeah.
and he was sent to a mental institution where he had a book released about him, and the French government's like, what the hell? So they deported him back to Japan,
Yeah.
and then he became a food critic.
Yeah. He played it
nice,
like
cool.
he
So he
starred
ate
in like
that story. He
porn
got so
movies.
popular.
Yeah.
Oh my
So he
god!
killed and ate
This tastes
somebody.
like human.
Yummy.
No,
cannibalism.
no.
Yeah,
Look,
so-
like
so-
this Wikipedia is fucking wild in the description.
It's pretty wild. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
this
so-
case. You know why I know this case? Because I did a whole presentation in college about him and about this case.
Ooh.
Dude, like
Oh,
there was
dang.
it was a so in university we had this because I was like studying in like Japanese studies department, right? Just crazy. Like, I mean, it's great. Like I'm here to like technically learn about the history of Japan and everything else. But I was just like, no, this is
No.
that I could go way back with true crime stories. So there were like
yeah.
every year we had something called like the workshops, which was basically like a camp for all the Japanese studies kind of students from like all over like Poland and also like Europe, like some European kind of like sister universities. And well, essentially it was like 5 days of drinking and partying together with everyone. But we had like lectures,
So college
like
in general.
like
Sounds
we
like a
were
normal college.
hungover. Everyone was hungover as fuck, like shit at night, shit face, during the day hungover. But we also had classes, like during the day we had like lectures and stuff, and you could actually like submit your proposal to do a lecture, and I did submit. I was just like, haha, kind of like a joke, like, oh, like there's no way they're gonna let this in. They did let it in, so I had to. I
Whoa.
was just like, oh shit, now I actually have to talk about this, dude.
You're
Like,
And then
damn.
they
everyone
put-
clapped and cheered, and you were Miss Popular.
actually, like, it's, yeah, like, kind of you're close because, like, they were, you know, like, there were several...
Why am I close?
I'm not kidding. Like, there were several lectures, like, in the same time slot as mine, right? And some, like, people were saying, like, oh, other lectures, like, they were kind of empty. The room where I was, like, I had, like, a smaller room. Dude, people had to bring chairs. People were standing outside. Like, there was, like, huge... You know, everyone was there, and I was just like, well, shit, what did I get myself into? And I'm like, here, I'm gonna talk about... I was like, what are you people doing here?
And then you had a light bulb idea involving VTubers.
Kind
yeah,
of, like
see, that's where it all came from.
Kind of, because like it was just kind of like, oh, you know, there's no way, like, oh, you know, technically, like, we're here at this workshop to learn about, like, oh, you know, language, oh, history, culture of Japan, and I was just like, no, you know what? You know what? Cannibalism. Like, true crime.
Cannibalism.
And Sona had to do it with a hangover.
I did
so
not.
What you're saying is
I swear to God, when I like submitted my proposal, because it was kind of like, oh, as a joke, like, oh, okay, I'm gonna submit this proposal. There's no way they're gonna let it into the program, and they were just like, no, that's great. Come in, talk about this. I'm like, what the fuck? Why?
Nice. Hey, there you go.
Like, thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're not afraid of large crowds, so when you get invited to like Off-Kai Expo or something,
it was a little bit
okay.
more stressful because I was like standing there physically, and like people were taking pictures and they were filming and everything, and you know, I had to have like a presentation and, you know, in front of people. Like, this is different. I think I would be a little less after like so many years on YouTube and like talking live, especially. Like, I think I would be much less nervous now. But at the time, it was like, oh, my first kind of big presentation. Big, like, yeah.
No.
But I was just kind of, it was really funny how like people were coming in and they were just like, there's no chairs, but there's nowhere to like, actually, even if I bring the chair, there was nowhere to put that chair. So people were like literally physically standing like outside of the room. Like, just, they left the door open because they were like, okay, well,
now you don't have to worry about chairs.
What you didn't know is they were all psychology students, and you just became their new case study.
Oh my God, they were like, why? What is this? Why that is a future patient, possibly.
Someone's first TED Talk was on cannibalism.
Yeah, it was.
That's great.
It was. Yeah, like, it was kind of insane. I'm not telling you guys this story because like, oh, I wanna tell you guys like, oh, you know, it was so popular. No, like, it freaked me out. I was just like, why is everyone here?
Do you think you still have that presentation?
Yeah, do you have that? I'm curious now.
No, that was like old computer, like my old laptop. No, I don't have it. That was like
I would be. I mean, I'm just saying for me, but I would actually be curious for you to cover that case actually in thorough detail.
It would be a throwback.
I'll bring it.
I agree on that.
It's like,
hold on,
technically first case I ever covered. It's just not on YouTube.
I have an idea for a series. Hear me out.
Yeah.
You could do like a throwback Thursday or like a throwback day where you revisit older cases from like when you first started, but with like a modern twist or something, you know, like from your Gremlin days, you know, from little
from the
little
animated
from the animated
or even
series.
Go back to the state by state, you know,
the US series,
you know, the US series,
the throwback.
I would love for you to cover older cases though, like the Power Rangers one.
Yeah, like I wanted to go back to the Montauk Project and like the Philadelphia experiment, because like that was interesting, but I never went into like Philadelphia experiment like very deeply. So I would cover that.
That would be amazing.
I would cover like Sagawa Issei, because that was literally technically the first case I ever covered. So.
Also, I'm still on the bandwagon for you actually using your older model and rigging it as a character.
Yeah, I still have to get to that because I have to find the files, the old files, and get like either rig it myself or like get someone to rig it for me.
Sorry to interrupt, but when you said the Power Ranger case, are you talking about the one where that Power Ranger actor?
Yeah, like there was like a Power Rangers curse.
Hi, RB.
Folks, that was RB.
That was Arbiter. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Power Rangers curse. So it's like, several mysterious deaths in the like cast of Power Rangers. Like a
Which I
mob
guess has
cast of
been
Power Rangers.
updated a year ago or two. When did he die? Like a year ago?
Oh, the Green Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah, Tommy. What is his name? Frank. He
Frank-
like had 3 first names, and I can't
Frank-
remember them now.
Something. Oh,
I remember that stream when you covered that, man. Wow. What a
Frank.
Wait, it's been a year already?
yeah. It's already been a
Yeah.
year. Can you believe that? Damn, time flies by.
God, I feel old
Let me
now.
see.
Oh, my
You
back.
feel old.
It was.
Well, I mean, I work
I feel old.
putting
YouTube
tires in
Jason
cars,
David
so
Frank.
My back.
Jason
Yeah,
David
Jason
Frank,
David
that was-
Frank, yeah,
He played
mhm.
Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, and then he played like also White Ranger or something. Oh, I mean, he was.
White Ranger, Black Ranger.
And then like
Red
older,
Ranger.
like
He
'cause-
was
yeah,
the
later.
Green Ranger, then the
Yeah.
White Ranger, and then the Red Ranger.
Yeah. Like he kind of transitioned, kind of to different roles, right? Like over because it was like a changing cast of the young Rangers, and then yeah, and then
Yeah,
had,
he
like,
even
the
came back
different-
much later, like as like a professor, and became the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
I didn't watch Power Rangers until I was in middle school. Nope.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I think
I
was, like-
remember.
yeah.
I remember when the Power Rangers first came out. They had McDonald's toys,
Oh yeah.
and my brother was doing karate, and there was a guy that went to the karate classes. I think it was one of the instructors or something, and he had given me the entire collection of the McDonald's Power Ranger toys.
Whoa. Nice.
And I was like, I think I was like 4 at the time.
Nice. So we got.
Was
I just
that when
remember-
the Happy Meal toys were still good, or
Oh,
Yeah.
that had to have been when
I
they were
think that
still
was the
good.
time when it was.
That was
they were
like a
still
long
decent.
time ago.
God, when they had Transformer toys that actually transformed.
Oh yeah. I remember so
On a
many
re-
toys from like McDonald's that were really nice.
Damn.
Oh,
Ser-
speaking of McDonald's, see, one of the things me and my mom do together is watch true crime.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing, there's a couple of things we noticed. Like one, a lot of times after someone's been murdered, the murderers will go to McDonald's to get food. And
Oh,
two,
yeah,
when
they
they need to
have
clean up the crime scene, they get their supplies at Walmart.
It's always
Yeah,
usually
there's, like,
Walmart or some weird
Walmart.
store.
I guess because there's just so many of those stores. Maybe it's just like go to because it's like popular and then like, oh, this is the closest
So-
they can find.
well,
If
that
you want-
or a McDonald's is the crime scene.
Or that.
You know.
So remember, folks, if you want to get away with it, go to a cheesecake factory after stopping by the Target.
Yes, specifically.
Burger King. No, that's too
No,
fancy.
didn't that like I remember like what was it, the South Carolina church shooting?
Yeah.
Didn't they take the kid that did the shooting to a Burger King right after he
Mhm.
did the killing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe they did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. There's different behaviors. Like there are killers that just eat at the crime scene. They just
Well,
go
clearly-
and
That,
from the
yeah.
fridge.
Like
I-
Issei.
I just remembered. I forget what it was, but a guy commits a crime, and they were reporting it on the news live in front of the police station, and then he shows up right in front of them, and they start interviewing him. It's like, and they're like, "Where were you until now?" "Well, I was just at the Jack in the Box at the
Oh my
corner
God.
down there, and I was thinking about it, and I decided to turn myself in."
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Or
man,
the guy
okay.
that
You're
turned
like,
himself in
cool.
for
Thanks
the
the help.
$100 reward.
When killers just turn themselves in, they just like, yeah, I
Seriously.
did it.
It's like, yeah, I did. So
They
do
don't
you
even
expect to, like,
lie.
get
They're
the-
just like, yep, I killed that dude.
Also,
I'm
Jose,
sorry.
super chat. Thank you so much. I got a dragon dagger.
Congratulations. on your dragon
Good for
dagger.
you.
I-
I question mark.
That's Jose.
Yeah.
Is that
Question
like a
mark.
confession to killing
Jose,
the
are you
dragon?
confessing to
No.
someone?
Oh,
Jose,
wait,
the
yeah.
dragon
I
slayer.
mean, if we find out about a murderer with a dragon dagger, then
Don't
we'll
know,
know.
but you know what?
Wait,
We're
wait,
happy
you
for
mean
your
the
dragon
Green
dagger.
Ranger's dragon dagger?
Oh, that. Oh, okay. In
Oh,
reference to like
yeah.
Power Ranger. Okay. Now I get it.
Now we get
I
it.
want to
We
mention
take,
something.
Yeah.
I
We
want to
take
say
that.
something
Go,
real
go,
quick.
Power
Because
Ranger,
Content just
go.
reminded me of it.
DMJ is singing the
You know
the
how he
intro.
mentioned
Power
Burger
Ranger.
King? Like we were
Yeah.
talking about McDonald's, and he mentioned a mass shooter going to Burger King.
Yeah.
I think a good case would be the case like the for you to cover
Yeah.
would be the first like mass shooter as we know it. At least I think it is. Happened in like a McDonald's in like the 1980s in
Oh
California.
yeah, yep. I know that one because me living there, they go over that case, and yeah, he
The
shot up.
first-
He shot up a whole freaking McDonald's. I don't know how many people he killed, but
what's it the first school not school shooter? What's the first mass shooter? Like a guy who shot from like a watchtower or a clock
Yeah,
tower?
I mean that's the first mass shooting-ish kind of thing. There have also been like one in the 30s, I think, or maybe 50s.
No,
but
the Texas Tower shooting of '66 was the clock tower shooting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I meant like as we know them, where like some guy with a gun goes into a high populated area and he's just walking around with the people he's shooting. That's what I mean.
Jeez.
Not like up in a tower sniping people.
That would be in 1949, vacant by a guy named Howard Unruh, who was a war veteran, who killed 13 people by shooting from a window down a crowded street.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's
wait,
the
I
first,
think I remember hearing about that, yeah.
The first recorded mass shooting event was from a war veteran.
I think the first school shooter was like a girl who was shooting from across the street from the school where she lived.
Yeah, something like that. I just
and like she said, like when they asked her why, she said, "I hate Mondays."
Yep. Yeah, I remember that one. I hate Mondays. Okay. I mean, I hate Mondays too, but I'm not gonna
is it a valid
go to a
reason?
school and just
maybe not.
Wait, Baxter, are you? Hold on.
Like lasagna?
Hold on.
Baxter,
pause for a second.
My dad's friend was one of the first to die in the McDonald's shooting. Should I ask for his story?
I mean, only if it doesn't,
if it doesn't open up old wounds or anything, yeah.
Like if it's not, if he's comfortable with that, then sure.
That would, a first-hand account. I mean, damn, that's.
That'd be sure. Something. But like, just make sure that your dad is okay with it.
Damn! Wow, that's crazy, man. Actually, to have an eyewitness there.
It's insane.
Oh yeah, Lost Nemesis. They found a tumor in his brain.
Did you guys hear about the fact that they finally realized the concussive force of grenades can cause?
Before that.
Nemesis. I know firsthand what the concussive force of a grenade does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the Texas Tower shooting was he tested his brain and found out how much brain damage he had. Like, as in tumors or what?
Yeah, like they found a tumor in him, and that's why they suspect he, went up into this clock tower and
went bazinga.
Yeah.
Did you just say bazinga, Fear?
Yeah, I did.
You did not just say bazinga.
Yes, we have that
now. When police captured the suspect, he was quoted known saying bazinga.
Bazinga.
No,
I know it's supposed to be like for like a joke, like it's just a joke, right? Like
I mean,
Sheldon,
I'll give you this. That's a dark Big Bang Theory fan fiction.
That's a dark fan fiction, yes. Sheldon is totally Spock. I'm still watching Star Trek. Still crazy. Still, Kirk is still a man whore. Every episode. Every episode.
Jeez.
Seduction. And I'm just like, can you give like Scotty or Spock or like Sulu some action? Because like it's always Kirk. Beat
me up, Scotty.
The boys, they're like with you in this ship too. They go on these dangerous mission. How about they seduce someone? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? You need to have a rants with Fear session and talk about Star Trek.
Ridiculous, but Star Trek, it's fun. I have to say, it's old, but you gotta appreciate how fun it is.
It's cheesy fun. It's like you look at it and you're like, man, this is cheesy, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's but I think those are all the cases that I wanted to cover, the ones that I talked about. So that's it. Yeah. Do you guys have any other cases that you wanted to?
No, I'm pretty done with listening to gruesome death and torture and murder and violence for one night. I don't know how you go through this, Fear, but man, oof.
I don't sleep.
The mental toll it must take.
I don't need sleep.
Who needs sleep anyway?
Yeah, you guys, if you wanna talk about any other case,
I'll just add one small thing. If anyone here was a Canadian in the late 90s, early 2000s, be careful of what kind of pork you ate around the Vancouver area.
Oh, Christ.
If anyone's familiar, just look up Robert Pickton.
Oh, Robert Pickton. I was going to say. I was going to ask. DMJ, you started saying something?
Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah, DMJ was mentioning something. Did you want to share something?
Come here, Mr. I only came here to add some commentary.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, like that's completely fine. You know, like as I said in my post, like, oh, you guys aren't obligated to like prepare anything. You can completely like just comment on or listen, come in and listen or comment on the, you know, on the cases that we kind of talk about. So no worries.
But we're still gonna sacrifice you, DMJ.
Yeah.
No.
Actually, you're required to now. Only you now, DMJ. You are required now to come up with something every time we have a cast.
No, I jinxed myself. No.
And if you don't, it is 36 lashings with a wet noodle.
Worries. No worries, no worries. Don't take it like don't take it seriously. I don't require you guys to like, you know, prepare anything.
Don't listen to her. She does.
Never really was into the true crime stuff until finding Sona randomly appearing in my feed. And I'm like,
stale Cheetos
I've been
and biscuits.
Also, Baxter, you weren't like it. Well, I mean, not Baxter. Sorry, Big Slim. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. But yeah, Big Slim. So you weren't into true crime until you found the channel.
Yeah, I just usually would watch like shows like, you know, like what,
That's actually
Unsolved
pretty cool.
Mysteries or stuff like that.
You know what's funny, Fear?
Like
I know this is really random, but one of your older videos was recommended on my feed the other day. It was the it was the Unsolved Hollywood. Was Brittany Murphy murdered? It was that video popped up randomly, and I'm like, damn, that was old. I'm like, why did YouTube do that? But yeah, it's still pushing your stuff out there, so
but like I can
it's
also,
still working.
you know, like I can also relate to, you know, like Big Slim. Like I also started from Unsolved Mysteries. Like that, I think that's a classic, isn't it? Like it's just kind of like
they would cover what, aliens or abductions or murders and stuff. Yeah. The other one I forgot, it was Forensic Files and stuff. But yeah now here I am.
Robert Stack was a fucking legend.
Yeah, it's pretty right. Like that's where we started. Like it would be on TV before, so like even before this whole genre of like true crime podcasts and channels started, like that was the go-to.
Yeah,
so
it was.
My mom would watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah,
and because I was like young at the time, I would watch what my parents watched, and so that evolved into me watching true crime. Yeah, and so it's like before I went to college, I watched true crime at Food Network. So my options were so I'm sitting there thinking, what should I do in my life? And my options were like a criminal lawyer of some sort or chef. And I decided to go to the culinary school.
What?
And so it's like,
crazy.
So there is a divide in my life where I could have gone in a completely different direction and studied criminology instead of culinary.
But in the end it was culinary.
But in the end it was culinary.
I guess because, at least it lets you keep your sanity a little bit and like lets you sleep at night.
I was lured by chocolate.
Oh, that's fair. I think that's that's the biggest part.
Because the college had an open house in February, and the whole thing was about chocolate, ways to use chocolate in cooking. Nice. So I was lured that way by chocolate.
Nice.
That's like the devil's seductive whisper there. Just like, come, we have chocolate.
I hate to be that guy. I really do, but it is super late for me, so I'm going to.
I think we can wrap it up.
Out
we can totally wrap it up.
I don't want to cause that, but for me personally, it's like pretty much midnight.
I think it's good.
Not that late.
I think we did make a good time. Overall.
Some people are a little older and require sleep a little more.
Some people go to sleep at 8 p.m.
I'm young.
Yeah.
I
don't sleep until 12.
I gotta be at work at 9, but I'm gonna stay up until this ends.
Nice.
Well, unless it ends at like.
You can go ahead and suffer at work while you're contemplating why you're tired all the time. Then Bacon, how about that?
But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say like thank you guys for like joining the call today, the hangout. Also thank you guys for preparing some of the cases and talking about it. Like very interesting cases. However disturbing. I will not sleep tonight. I don't need sleep, especially after some of those. Oh my god. But yeah, thank you so much.
Some of those were new, so
some of them were new. I kind of like, some of them weren't, right? Like the Sagawa Issei kind of inspired me to, like you guys were, right? Like what you mentioned, like, maybe I could revisit some cases. And yeah, like cover the new ones. Like I definitely think that some of those cases deserve kind of a standalone video. and just me just talking about it separately. But yeah, thank you so much, you guys. I won't keep you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Will there be an
Oh, yeah.
episode 3? Are we gonna continue this, or is this gonna end at episode 2?
Yeah, DMJ said you said like what that you love coming to the calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I mean, I love having you guys here. I appreciate that you guys take the time, take the time out of your day to, to come to the call and hang out with me. I hope we can hang out. Like, I hope we can do this again. Hopefully next month and do something interesting again. Okay, I won't keep you here. You guys can go rest. I'm just gonna wrap it up. And yeah, like we can wrap it up and everyone can rest. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
Just
it was nice hanging out with you guys.
Just wanted to acknowledge who was here. Big Slim, Kanta, Dorothy, IDK Bacon, Kronos, Lost Nemesis was popping in and out, and also DMJ. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here today.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you for being awesome.
Having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us here and being cool.
Sleep well, children.
We're gonna have another, right, like at the end of the month, or like I might move the true crime quiz with like prizes maybe to June, because I have to I need time to get the merch, like the prizes, right? But there's gonna be another hangout in May, so just so you guys know, like from platinum to diamond tiers, like gonna have another hangout this month.
Yay!
And remember, Fear, always lock your doors and windows.
Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your haxes.
Bury your haxes.
And yeah, until the next time, everyone. Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Sona.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. What does MERP mean? Wait, hold up. I'm confused. What does MERP mean? Whatever it means. Okay, I do have a fun fact. There is out there in Australia, because where would it be? In Australia, there is a giant neon pink slug, apparently. And it is found in a single isolated forest on an extinct volcano in Australia. Neon pink slug. You guys can look it up. It is pink. So, also hot water turns into ice faster than cold water. That was actually like found out, I think 1600s. But yeah, someone found out in like that hot water just turns into ice faster than cold water, which is weird. It just freezes quicker. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for sticking out. Thank you for interacting with the chat, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.